na pwede namin marating, ang conclusion na ito, wrong medicine and wrong implementation ay nilagay sa peligro ang ating mga kabataan. No political decision is more paramount than the health of our children. Hindi dapat makialam. Kaya nga pinag-iisipan po namin, at ako ay desidido na dyan, na ihiwalay po natin ang FDA at ang formularyo sa opisina ng Secretary of Health, katulad doon sa batas sa Amerika na yung Sunshine Law na ginawa ni Senator Ted Kennedy. Na nakahiwalay yan dahil kung magkamisan, magaling magtulak ang mga pharmacy. In fairness to all the pharmaceutical companies, napakamahal mag-research ng bagong gamot. Naglalabas sila ng pera para mag-research. Kaya andap rin ako na pigilan naman at lahat ng mga gagaling dito, siguro andap naman silang pigilan yan. Ang sinasabi lang natin, bago natin pairalin yung research, kahit na ganun kamahal, kailangan pag-aralan maigi bago iturok sa mga kababayan natin, lalo na yung mga bata, mga musmos. Pangalawa, titignan po natin dito, ano ba ang procedural safeguards that should have been observed and were they followed? Yung procedure po ng registration, yung ng drugs and inclusion in the Philippine National Formulary. Ayan po nakalagay. For procedure for budgeting and disbursement of funds, dahil merong pagkukulang ata ang Office of the President na biglang kinuha yung pera na nakalaan para sa ibang lugar at inilipat sa last 2 minutes. Yung iba tinatawag ito midnight decision. Palabas na ang nakaraang administrasyon, kumuha ka agad ng pera at talagang isinadya ka agad yung pera dito sa dengue virus na ito, dengue vaccine. Ipinagbabawal sa DAP, may batas dyan at mayroong Supreme Court decision yung Aurelio case at marami pang iba. Yun po yung Aquino versus Arroyo. Kung di nakakamali. Arroyo. Ba't Arroyo nakalagay dito? Arroyo. Thank you. Issue 3. Who are the people accountable, if any? To what extent are they capable, if any? Out of respect for President Aquino, hindi po muna namin siya tinawag dito. Pero hindi na nga wala siyang pananagutan dito kung may lalabas pa na ibang bagay. Mukhang President Aquino, siya nagsimula kasama si Secretary Green doon sa Beijing. Hindi na nga hulugan porque nakapag-iusap sila, may mali na silang ginawa. Nuulit ko yan. I have to be fair. Kung lang ito, timeline lang ito. Secretary Florencio Butchabad, former Finance DBM Secretary. Siguro tawagin natin yung bumabaril ng tao dito saka mali-mali ang binigay sa akin itong binabasa ko. Biro lang ho yan. Former DBM Secretary. Secretary Janet Garin, former DOH Secretary. Son of a pastor. Kailangan magpaliwanag lahat ng mga ito. Dr. Julius A. Lecciones, ang Executive Director ng PCMC, Philippine Children's Memorial Medical Center. Sorry. Sana yung kay Dr. Del Mundo. Bata pa yan. Matanda na yun. Bata pa kami, ito kami dinadala. Undersecretary Kenneth Hardigan-Go, one-time FDA, one-time member ng formularyo, at mamaya may papaliwanag siya dito. Dr. Maria Joyce Ducusin. Sa madaling sabi po, ano ang mga leksyon na malalaman natin dito? Dapat maturuan tayo ni Dr. Lecciones. Maraming lections dito eh. Primary duty of public officers is to protect the public. Salus populi es suprema lex. The welfare of the people is the supreme law. Our public health policy should be free from political interference. Kung meron, dapat pagbawal. There should be stricter measures against conflict of interest in public service. 3, more effective measures to ensure that safe, well-researched, and well-tested drugs, pinag-aralan maigi, where gains far outweigh the risks are introduced to the public as part of the health measures of the government, keeping in mind and hearts of our leaders and big business. Ito ay ginagawa natin in aid of legislation to ensure justice and look into possible legislation at saka to determine whether there was malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance that could lead to criminal or administrative prosecution. Sinabi ko na yung FDA should be independent, gano'n rin yung formulary, or kaya at least strengthen the formulary. Ang importante po gusto ko sabihin dito, the science must never be compromised. Marami ho nag-aaral ng mga scientists dito, kasama na ang Sanofi. Gano'n rin po ang mga tao natin sa DOH. Napakahirap kumuha ng mga scientists sa DOH. Dapat respetuhin ang mga scientists na nakukuha natin para sa FDA, saka sa formulary, at yung mga doktor sa baryo. At lahat yan. Kailangan re-respetuhin po yan. Yan o ang mga nakikita namin dito. Tataka ako bakit ang bagal lang ang ombudsman. Hindi ho criticism yan, pero matagal ko nang hinaing yan. Ako po'y matagal na rin sa Blue Ribbon. Dumarating rin naman pagkatapos. Pero dapat natin yan na ito kagad. Dahil hindi ho namin trabaho mag-imbestiga. Hindi kami mga pulis o investigador. Kami mga legislators. Kaya lang kinakalap namin ang ebidensya para maihanda kagad na mabilis para sa in-aid of legislation at para in the case of the Blue Ribbon, taging Blue Ribbon lang ang pwede magsabi may malfeasance, misfeasance, and nonfeasance dito sa buong Senado. So, ito po ngayon ang ating tutunghayin ngayon. Pasensya na po kayo, napahaba, pero kailangan maliwanagan sapagkat isang taon po nawala. Kaya po nawala ito na isang taon, marami akong naulinigan na nag-aalinlangan yung ibang testigo. May mga pressures, at hanggang ngayon may mga pressures. Ngunit hopefully, yung mga pressures yan, isasantabi natin. At kaya ko sabihin yung mga pressures na yan, pero huwag na natin pa ibahin. Mag-iiba pa tayo ng usapan dito. Siyempre, 3.5 billion is a lot of pressure. Certainly, itong election is a lot of pressure na malapit na. Certainly, pinakamagandang pressure ay sana makakuha ng magandang gamot para maibigay. Yun ang pinakamagandang pressure. Maibigay yung tamang gamot. So sinabi ko ang lahat ng pressure para makita niya parehas tayo. So on that note, I will proceed and excuse me, there are two new arrivals. Mary Ann Lansang, UPPGH, Professor. We had you before. Yeah. So you're still under oath, ma'am. And Professor Ted Herbosa, former Undersecretary of Health and now one of the Vice Presidents, if I'm not mistaken, of the University of the Philippines. Can you please stand up? Can you please stand up so we can administer the oath of office? The oath of, not office. Go ahead.
Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the proceedings?
I do. Thank you. All right.
Mr. Chair.
Unahin po natin.
One question, Mr. Chair. Did we invite the former Secretary Abad to attend the hearing?
Yes. Yes, we did invite him.
For this hearing,
Well, I was told by my staff, there are two staffs working here. My staff, as Senator, and the Blue Ribbon staff, and they're supposed to be meeting. From what I know, ang sinabi ko lang hindi imbitahin Senator si President Aquino. But we are going to invite him. If he's not here, we're going to invite him in the next hearing.
Thank you.
Which I hope we can all decide should be before the year is over. We also invited Secretary Ona, and he was not able to come because I think he's in the States. But he did make a statement in public. We now have Senator Gatchalian. Hindi ko na sabihin Villanueva dahil magkamukha sila. Nag-aaway pa sila kung sino mas magandang lalaki sa kanila. Welcome. So, we will start with the permission of everybody. Dahil unahin natin yung magulang. Ang sinabi ko, unahin natin yung dapat malaman natin kung ano ang mga na-perwisyo dito. May nagpunta ho dito si Iris Alpay. Ngayon ko lang po siya nakilala. Baka sabihin niya, dinala ko ito dito. Iris, you're a mother? Please speak to the microphone.
Yes po.
Ba't kayo nandito po ngayon? Kayo isang ina na...
Isa po ako sa mga magulang na ang mga anak ay naka-receive ng dengue vaccine.
Ilang anak po naka-receive ng dengue vaccine?
Po.
Ilan po sa mga anak ninyo?
Isa lang po.
Okay po. Ilang taon po yan?
12 po.
12. Sige po, pagpatuloy po rin yan.
Good morning po sa lahat. Ninais ko rin po na makaputna rito at makasali dito sa diskusyon na ito. At gusto ko rin pong maiparating po sa lahat ng kinauukulan ang nararamdaman ko po bilang ina. Ang takot na nararamdaman ko, ang kaba at lahat, ang mga gabi na halos hindi ako makatulog. Pagpasensyahan nyo na po, pero gusto ko talagang sabihin ito sa mga taong behind this vaccine, especially former Secretary Garin. Gusto ko lang po...
Una muna tayo manisi. Sabihin nyo lang ako kung ano nararamdaman nyo.
Opo. Gusto ko lang po rin tanungin sa kanya kung nakakatulog pa ba siya ng mahimbing kasi kami po ay hindi na. At gusto ko rin pong ipalabas ang frustration ko sa government. Kasi ako po ay... I trusted so much with the government, especially DOH, dahil naniniwala po ako na ito po yung mandate ay para lang po sa kapakanan, sa health lalo ng mga entire citizen ng Pilipinas po. Pero ako po ay sobrang na-disappoint dahil mismong ang ahensya nyo ang nagpapahamak sa aming mga anak. You endanger the lives of our children. Sobrang disappointment ang nararamdaman ko. Sobrang galit ang nararamdaman ko ngayon. At gusto kong hingin din sa present administration, sa DOH, sa namamahala ngayon, kung ano ang pwede nyong gawin sa aming mga magulang. Kung anong tulong ang pwede nyong magawa para man lang mabawasan yung aming kaba, ang aming takot para sa aming mga anak. Kasi naririnig ko or sinabi rin naman mismo ng isang city health officer sa akin dahil nagpa-check yung anak ko dahil nagkasakit nga po. Nagkaroon naman daw kayo ng campaign na minomonitor nyo yung mga bata na nabakunahan. Pero ang tanong ko nga sa kanya, paano? Dahil ako isa sa magulang. Wala namang nakarating sa akin taga City Health para magtanong kung kamusta ang anak mo.
So sinasabi po ninyo, kayo pa ang pumunta sa City Health?
Sumulat po ako mismo kay Secretary.
Sandali lang po.
Opo.
I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
Yes po.
Ang sinasabi niya, tungkulin dapat ng gobyerno, puntahan ang mga magulang na naturukan, dahil may mga records naman, para masabi sa kanila na merong kayong dapat gawin pagka nagkasakit ang inyong anak, dapat pinangunahan na kayo ng gobyerno na nagturok nito na makipagkita kagad sa public health. Hindi kayo nasabihan nun?
Exactly, hindi po. Ang ina-expect ko po kasi bilang magulang ngayon nang lumabas tong issue na to na magkaroon ng i-inform yung mga magulang, magkaroon ng campaign na ipatawag ang mga magulang, i-inform na ganito ang sitwasyon ngayon, magbigay ng telepono kung saan makatawag, hindi lang yung landline kasi hindi naman po lahat ng magulang merong landline. So sa mga kung kanino kami pupunta para ipamonitor kung sakaling magkakaanak ang sakit namin, hindi lang dapat limitahan ng gobyerno doon sa mga pasyente na nakikita nila sa TV. Kasi marami namang mga may sakit na hindi naman nakakarating doon sa mga TV or kung saan ipaalam na nilalagnat ang anak ko ngayon. So hindi po, ang ine-expect ko po na magkaroon talaga ng information campaign ang government para dun sa mga magulang kung paano namin i-assess yung mga anak namin para matanggal man lang yung takot namin. At ipaalam din ng gobyerno sa amin kung ano ang tulong na hindi rin kami limitahan sa mga government hospitals lang. Kasi nagkasakit nga po yung anak ko, ang sabi sa akin, dalhin ko dun sa government hospital which is sobrang layo dun sa lugar ko.
Saan ho ba kayo?
Imos po.
Sa Imos po, wala kang hospital o government hospital doon?
Wala po.
Secretary Duque?
Yeah, thank you, Your Honors. In response to Mrs. Iris Alpay's comments,
Pakipatay niya lang yung microphone niya.
Ako po ay tumawag sa kanya ng personal. Nung narinig ko po itong kanyang naging problema at nagsususpetsa siya na ang sintomas na nararanasan ng kanyang anak ay malamang may kaugnayan sa pagbibigay ng dengue siya. Ngunit nung kinausap ko siya, mukhang hindi naman ito maiugnay batay po sa mga sintomas na kanyang sinabi. Ay may posibilidad, ngunit kinakailangan ay suriin pang mas lalo.
Be that as it may, Secretary Duque, the question I think that is being asked here, anong gagawin ng mga magulang na ngayon nabalitaan na napakabilis ang dila ng chismis at lahat na sinasabi na delikado kayo pagka kayo naturukan. Anong ginagawa ng gobyerno para i-assuage, para bigyan sila ng payo? Meron ba kayong nilagay na tatawagan nila? Meron ba kayong sinabi na sasagutin namin ang gastos niyo pag na-hospital yung bata? Meron ba gano'n?
Meron ho tayong ginawang mga ganoon. In fact, nung araw, matapos yung disclosure ng Sanofi about the possible or their observation of severe dengue disease arising out of those children who were vaccinated but never had the dengue infection in the past. Immediately, we convened the EXICOM, and then the following day, we had a press con. And we, in fact, suspended the implementation of the program. Just the following day, we were the first ones among all the other countries. And then I also enumerated the steps that the DOH has prepared and for implementation. Number one is the setting up of the dengue hotlines, NCR 711-1001 and 711-1002. And other than that, we have also established the specific dengue hotlines in the affected regions 3, 4A, NCR.
Let me interject for a while, if you don't mind. Do we know, alam ba ng gobyerno, kay Secretary Bial at sa inyong dalawa, and maybe for Secretary Garino, na nung nag-ineksyon kayo, alam ninyo kung sino ang mga na-ineksyonan? May record ba tayo nahawakan?
There is a complete record. In fact, the next step was to put together the master list. I have instructed all the directors of the affected regional offices in tandem with the directors of the DepEd.
Dahil may master list kayo ngayon, the next step is obviously tawagan lahat ang mga tao, lalo na yung mga bata na sa eskwela. Tandaan natin, ang mga bata naturukan nung wala nang pasukan, April na. Ang kasagsagan nung tusukan ng eleksyon dito. So, itong mga bata na nasa gobyerno, nasa eskwela ngayon, meron kayong record, hindi naman siguro mahirap pakiusapan ng Secretary of Education at kayo, at pati na rin ang Red Cross, tutulong dyan, na hanapin yung mga bata at magbigay ng information at kwarto-kwarto, sabihan yung mga bata, kaya yung mga magulang na kung meron kayong certification, padala na kagad para sa ganon, mapapawi yung kanilang sleepless nights, mental anguish, anxiety, para ganon hindi katulad ni Miss Iris Alpay, siya pa pupunta rito, kusang loob, na mag-aalay ng kanyang hinaing. I think that is the best thing to do for the government. Hindi po ba?
I agree absolutely, Mr. Chairman. But if, with your permission, if I may be allowed to
Please, go ahead.
further. So, other than setting up of the dengue hotlines, other than putting together the master list in tandem with the DepEd, together with our regional directors, and in coordination with the local government health officers, we have also instructed to conduct heightened surveillance, because the key here is heightened surveillance 5 years post-vaccination. So, Mr. Chairman, this is a key to responding to this development.
Sure. Forgive me. Yung heightened surveillance, what does that mean? Yung ba lahat ng ospital na makakatanggap ng may sakit na dengue o talagang chechikin nyo kagad? Yung bang ibig sabihin nun?
Oh, yeah, that's part of it. In fact, I have
Ano
also
pa ibig sabihin po nun?
yes, Your Honor. In fact, I've also, corollary to that, I've also instructed Your Honors, the PhilHealth, to already make sure that the funding requirements for every child that has manifested or manifests this not only serious but even not so serious symptoms, but when they go to the hospital, PhilHealth must be ready to pay for their cost of hospitalization in the amount of 10,000 for ordinary dengue and 16,000 for severe cases of dengue. And not only that, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors, there is also an enrollment that the PhilHealth is doing by way of point of care enrollment. Ibig po sabihin nun, pag pumunta sa hospital at tatanungin, meron ka bang PhilHealth? Wala, o mag-enroll ka na kaagad. And then kung meron kang sakit, lalo na po sa atin mga naghihirap o naghihikahus na mga kababayan, ay ito po ay mabeneficyohan ho sila ng programa ng ating PhilHealth at bayad po ito ng gobyerno. Wala na ho sila dapat bayaran. Wag lang po sa mga private hospitals. Kasi sa private hospitals, yan ay may co-payment pa dyan. At ako po ay nakikiusap, hanggang sa maaari, ay pumunta po tayo sa mga government hospitals, national and local government hospitals. No? So we're doing this, and then I've been, in fact, interviewed for the last 9 or 10 days non-stop from 5 a.m. and until evening, and whether this is newspaper or radio or television, precisely to assuage and pacify the fears of our parents with regard to this most unfortunate development, no? Compliments of Sanofi pasture.
Secretary Senator Binay?
Mr. Chair, since nabanggit yung Secretary Duque na may master list, ilan ho ba talaga yung na-injection na nandeng netong vaccine na to?
Kung hindi po ako nagkakamali, as of the last reporting sa amin sa Exicom ng DOH, ito po ay umabot ng 830,000 vaccinees. Both school-based and to a lesser extent, community-based in Cebu.
Kasama na ho dito yung sa mga private.
Yung sa private, based on the latest information I was given, mga 32,000 private patients had been vaccinated.
So it's 830,000 plus 32.
That's right, Your Honors.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Secretary Reservoir.
Sir Chair, thank you. Anyway, I'd just like to follow up lang kay Secretary Duque. You mentioned that you will be monitoring, DOH will be monitoring the children that were given vaccination for the next 5 years, no? Because some symptoms may show up after 3, 4, 5 years from now. That would entail quite a lot of manpower as well. I'm asking this question because as Chair of Committee on Health, we would like to help a lot fund for this purpose for the next 5 years. Would you think how big will the manpower do you think would be needed to for that monitoring? Because to monitor 800,000 children.
Well, initially, Your Honors, we have hired 30 surveillance officers, but we will have to check on the ground exactly what the existing capacities are of the Department of Health regional offices to complement, of course, the efforts or the capacities of the local government units. And until we have that data, we won't be able to tell you exactly how many additional surveillance officers or support officers we need to hire. But be that as it may, let's contextualize all of this in one of its facets, no, is the dengue incidence over the last 4 years. On the average in the Philippines is about 160,000 cases of dengue reported, no, out of a 100 million population. So that's about 0.00160 incidence. But this is not to belittle, Your Honors, because any one life is so precious and is irreplaceable. It's just that in response to the possible additional requirements, manpower requirements of the DOH as raised by the Honorable Senator Ejercito, I just need more data to give you a more definitive response.
And likewise, considering that this is not part of the JAF 2018 and it's not planned, no? We just want to know that how how extensive your monitoring will be, so that we can already allot portions of or include it in the preparation of the NEP in the coming February or March.
Thank you very much for your intention, Your Honor. But we also need to ensure PhilHealth is crucial here, Your Honors. Kasi we have a 92% coverage. 92 million Filipinos are covered, and I should like to believe that about 80 or 90% of children come from families that are already members of PhilHealth.
Well, let me just add to the very well-intentioned questions of Senator Ejercito. You inoculated 830,000, is that correct?
That's right, Your Honors.
Dengue is a seasonal disease, is that correct?
No longer, because of climate change, it is now an all-year-round phenomenon.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yes, sir.
Precisely. It's no longer a seasonal case because of climate change, nagbabago-bago. Which means na kailangan handa tayo palagi. Ngayon, I don't want na malalal o wala naman pala, konti pa lang ngayon pa lang yan. Pagka sumipa yan, at nagkaroon na limbawa ng maraming kagatan at namyesta na naman yung mga dengue mosquitoes na yan, mabibigla kayo dyan. At ang pangalawang gusto kong sabihin dito, katulad ni Mrs. Alpay, access. Now, meron kayong eskwela, ang teachers dapat sinasabihan na yung mga bata na pagka magkaroon ng sakit, sabihin kaagad sa nanay o kaya magpa-meeting ng PTA o Parents Teachers Association. Ayun pa ba ang tawag nila ngayon doon? Yan. Pangalawa. Pangatlo, bukod sa access, meron tayo mga instances, correct me if I'm wrong, any of you, na may mga na-iniksyonan. There are some people now who are injected outside the coverage area. In Davao, in other areas like Cagayan de Oro, lumabas.
Private patients po.
It doesn't matter to me. The point is there is no more lying, because once you get dengue, dapat automatic na yung chichikin nyo. You can no longer take the chance na ito ay baka private o baka public. No time for that. Gamutin muna natin, saka natin malaman later on. After all, you said, kahit na mahirap siya, kung wala siyang PhilHealth, pasok siya. At maganda rin yung iniisip ni Senator Ejercito na maglagay tayo ng pondo na kung kakapusin, meron tayong dadalhan. Ay tayo pagbibigyan ng pera, di ba? So it's important na in the information campaign, talagang dagdagan nyo talaga yung sasabihin sa mga batang nasa eskwela, yung nasa labas ng eskwela, yung mga magulang, pati mga barangay, dapat sabihan yan. At hindi lang ngayon. Dapat every month may paalala tayo na meron kayong campaign talaga na posted. Ito ang damage The damage is the government now has to undertake a very huge campaign to tell the public. Now, I will tell you this. I will tell you to your face, Mr. Thomas Triumph of Sanofi. I was very insulted when we were conducting the investigation here in December. That's why I halted it a while, and I'm glad DOH finally came around to telling you that it is unethical for you to advertise while you're doing these dengue procedures. You were advertising. Your company was advertising. That is out of line. That cannot be tolerated, because while we're conducting the investigation, you're conducting a meeting outside, trying to get to the public, trying to tell them something that is not totally true. So anything like that should be considered by the DOH for additional sanctions against any drug company who will try to advertise. Hindi dapat nag-a-advertise. Dapat ngayon, mag-a-advertise tayo. Abay, dapat magagastos tayo dyan. Sa radyo, sa TV, sa mga barangay, sa mga eskwela, sa mga teacher, mga posters, mga leaflets, para Kung hindi sila tamaan ngayon, baka sa 1 taon o 2 taon, tamaan niya mga yan. Nakalimutan na. Alam naman nyo rito, far from mind, out of sight, out of mind. So it's very important na magawa yan. I'm just giving you this, missive para maintindihan natin ang kalakyan nitong problemang ito.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
siguro more than the DOH, I think Sanofi has a bigger responsibility in informing the parents. So I would like to know, what have you done?
Good morning, Senator. May I respectfully ask, before answering the question, to give a general statement?
Excuse me, just for a while. Did you ask a question, Ms. Hanafi?
Hindi, because we were talking about DOH providing information dissemination. Sa tingin ko ho, more than DOH, Sanofi has a bigger
They
responsibility
have to.
in doing that. So I would like to know, what have they done ever since this result came out?
So I was saying, good morning, Senator. Do you may I respectfully ask to provide a general opening statement before answering the question? I think this opening statement will provide some further information.
There was a previous opening statement made here by Sanofi, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to react to this situation now, we will allow you. But first, let me have Senator Gatchalian answer this question before I call you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is in line with the questions of Senator Binay and Nercito kay Secretary Duque. For the record, Secretary Duque, I just want to make this as layman as possible. Yung mga binigyan po ng itong vaccination, yung mga nagka-dengue na before, hindi ho delikado yung buhay nila.
There has been data from Sanofi, and that's one-sided. They're saying that it has provided, continues to provide protection. But, Your Honors, based on their very own data, the protection ranges from anywhere 40% to 80%. So an average of about 60%. So there's still 40% of those vaccinated, even if they had been established as having had dengue infection in the past, they still will have the possibility of contracting the disease once bitten by a mosquito that's carrying the virus. That is why I would like to take this opportunity, with the permission of the committee, Your Honors, that for the parents and for the general public, the dengue vaccination program cannot be viewed in isolation. This has to be, for the campaign to be effective, this has to be viewed in complementation with the traditional or the usual DOH campaign of 4S. First S is search and destroy, yung mga pamugaran, yung mga kung ano mga basyo na naiipon, nakakaipon ng tubig, yung mga goma. Next S is seek early consultation. This is really crucial because if the children already manifest symptoms of high fever, 38 to 41 degrees centigrade, rash, headache, body malaise, nausea, vomiting, etc., they should immediately bring their children to hospitals. You know why this campaign is so important? Because as Mrs. Iris Alpay had manifested, of 3 children, only 1 had dengue vaccination. And the risk, I believe, is not any greater than when you compare it in a population that never had the vaccine injected. No? So the 2 other children are still at risk of contracting the dengue infection. So I feel that we need to understand, we need to convey effectively, and we will be doing that. We have been doing it, I think, in the newspapers of national circulation. I don't know if some of you have read about 2 or 3 times that we have published the steps, the frequently asked questions, and prepared the answers. But that's dynamic. I mean, we really have to also be guided by whatever recent data the Sanofi will provide us. And we already have requested Sanofi to give us an update, because we need to update our people. We need to update the health system. We need to update all the doctors, whether national, local, and private healthcare providers. We need to update all of them.
We've gone through that line already. Now I'd like to get Iris Alpay
Mr. Chairman,
to reply. She wants us to respond.
Gusto ko lang pong gusto ko lang po mag-comment sa sinabi niyo po kanina na open naman po ang gobyerno na tumulong, kaya lang sa government hospitals. Sa government hospitals only. Ang inaano ko lang po, kasi marami po sa mga parents na wala pong halimbawang ang anak mo ay sumusuka na nagtatain na kailangan mo pang bumiyahe ng ilang oras para pumunta doon sa government hospitals na sobrang layo. Ang iniisip ko lang, wala po ba kayong tulong maibigay na pwede bang doon na lang sa mga hospitals na kung saan malapit? Kasi baka lalong magiging maluba ang sakit ng anak mo kung ibiyahe mo pa ng malayo.
If I may be allowed to respond. Ang PhilHealth po kasi, sa sistema po ng PhilHealth, nasa saklawan po ang pati mga private hospitals. Kung ang inyo po tinutukoy ay mga emergency cases or nagpapakita ng ganito malubhang karamdaman sa unang pagkakataon, ay pwede nyo po sila itakbo sa kahit sa mga pribadong hospital at pangangasiwaan po ito ng mga private hospitals. Ang PhilHealth po naman ang siyang magbabayad ng malaking bahagi ng gastusin.
Okay. Isa na lang po, sir. Doon po sa sinabi mo na yung information campaign, okay, maganda naman yun. Sana po makakarating talaga yun sa mga parents. Meron lang kasi akong kahapon na case, doon kausap ko yung city health officer na sinabi niya mismo sa akin na huwag akong maniwala dahil masyado lang na pinalaki itong issue na to. Instead na dapat i-inform niya ang mga magulang sa danger na haharapin ng mga bata. Kasi ang sinabi niya, mali daw yan. Kasi mayroon pang study ang WHO na lalabas toward end of the month na yun ang dapat paniwalaan. Ang Sanofi hindi dapat paniniwalaan. Maling-mali po para sa akin yung sinabi niya.
I think the Secretary of Health should admonish that guy.
We will.
That guy has no right to say walang mangyayari dyan because marami pa mangyayari dyan. At sinasabi niya, wala yan, huwag kayo maniwala sa chismis. Ninenervyos na yung mga nanay eh. Mga tatay, lahat ninenervyos yan. Kailangan palagi ang... Kanina ko pa sinasabi, palagi sasabihan. Medyo patawag niyo siguro yun para malaman niya. At sa harapan ni Miss Alpay, sabihan niya na hindi niya dapat sinasabi yun. Alright? Miss Alpay, meron pa po?
Maraming salamat po. Sige,
Mr. Chair,
wala na po.
Meron pa po?
Mr. Chairman, if I may po.
Yes, Secretary Green.
Kasi nga po na-mention po ni Ma'am Iris Alpay, mahirap naman po na hindi ako makapagsalita. If I may be allowed, Your Honor, to respond. And as there has been a lot of questions and unfortunately my personal circumstances didn't allow me to respond at the appropriate time, may I be allowed to begin to...
You don't have to
5
ask
minutes?
permission. All of this, raise your hand. I mean, I am chagrined that you will say, may I be allowed, because you are allowed. That's why you're here.
Thank you, Your
So
Honor.
please let me set the record straight. We want to hear your side. In fact, we're just wanting to hear the people's side right now.
Thank you, Your
Kaya
Honor.
ang intention ko rito, unahin ko muna yung mga tao bago kayo. You can take care of yourselves. Sanofi can take care of themselves. You can take care of yourself. The Department of Health can take care of yourself. But the people, for the next several years, hindi nila alam kung anong gagawin nila pag tatamaan sila. So bago kayo magsalita ng ganon, nakakasakit kayo. I'm very sensitive to this because matagal na sinasabi ito, walang pumapansin nag-a-advertise pa yung Sanofi, barat-barat pa ng barat. Hindi kayo dapat matakot, okay ito. Have you ever heard of the Simon study? And let me just ask a question in the process, in behalf of Ms. Alpay. Nagbigay ba kayo ng ineksyon dito sa mga 1-year-old or 2-year-old or below 9 years old? Ang balita ko, mayroon mga ganon
Your Honor, if I may.
No, let me I'm asking Secretary Obial during her time. Do you know of any? And if they don't know, I'm asking the Department of Health all over the country, kung meron mga ganon, dapat bigyan ka agad, ilagay sa hot list yan para masabihan because nakalagay sa study dito na it is very, very dangerous to give to people below 9 years of age. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. The vaccination program was given to 9 years old and older. However, I think in the clinical trials, they were given to younger children.
And what
The
does that mean
Philippines-
in the layman's terms? Clinical trial, that's allowed?
The Philippines was venue for the clinical trial.
That's correct.
About 10 years ago.
And we allowed that.
Yes, sir.
Of course, may pero are we sure we did not allow it afterwards? Yung mga
No.
magulang, isama nyo naman itong eleksyon.
No,
Isama
sir.
nyo na ito. So kailangan siguro tingnan ninyo may yung records. Are you sure you have the records?
We do. Every child that has been vaccinated is card carrying. So in fact, I think that that's also very good a system, because now in the monitoring, in the surveillance, we'll be able to exactly find out yung immunization history, records, which we will also include the records of hospitalization of all the vaccinees, irregardless of their symptoms. Basta na hospital, tutukan. We will have to tag them already. And then we have to do mandatory investigation of all this.
May I therefore request you, because I remember in my preliminary statement there was wrong administration. I have 3 anecdotal statements here. 1-year-old children given dengue vaccine in Mindanao and Metro Manila. We need to see the records, but this is dangerous based on clinical trials in this age group. Another one, 6-year-old child given dengue vaccine in Davao City. We need to verify this. We have to verify. That's the point here that I'm trying to make. It's hard. Gipit tayo, pero kailangan i-verify lahat yan because we have put people in harm's way. That's one thing we all have to accept here. Am I being panicky here? Tell me.
I think you're being very prudent, Your Honor.
We have to be prudent. If there was no prudence before, now na nabigay yan, dapat talaga lahat ng marinig natin, hindi chismis yan, chichikin lahat yan. Sinabi, 1-year-old. Kung nagkamali, nagkamali naman pala, hindi naman pala 1-year-old, 2 years old, hindi ganun rin yun. Di ba? O kaya naging 9 years old. Mabuti nang sinay-check kaysa magkamali tayo. Right? And then another one, a child with rheumatoid arthritis was given dengue vaccine without parental consent. Metro Manila yan. If the child is on steroids and is immunosuppressed, the ability to fight the national dengue episode may be compromised. Iyan pa isang dinadaing namin. Dapat bago kayo nagbigay na ineksyon, bugbog sarado ang tao na sabihin, pag may sakit yung bata, huwag kayo magpapa-ineksyon. You know why I'm saying this, Your Honor? Kayo mga doktor, ayaw namin ididemanda kayo mga doktor kung may mga abogado. Because ang mga doktor, dapat sasabihin sa mga pasyente, etong bawal. Hindi kayo dapat bigyan yan. Pag ginawa niyo yan, that's malpractice na talaga yan. At talagang magkakamali na tayo ng gusto, marami ng demandahan. And, you know, the more important part that I wanted to say, we must not give vaccination a bad name. Intindihin niyo po yung sinasabi ko. Pagka tayo pumalpak dito sa bakuna, dito, sa Amerika, debate na yan eh. Ang bakuna, kino-question na ng mga nanay doon sa Amerika na, delikado, huwag na kayo magpabakuna. Ito ay ira na ng mga daming drugs, na ang daming mga sakit na lumalabas. Naghahanap ng Ebola vaccine, di ba? Doon sa isang bansa sa Africa, nagkaroon ng bubonic plague. Madagascar. So, ibig sabihin, hindi natin dapat, nakikiusap ako sa inyo, dapat magkakaroon pa kayo ng another advertising campaign na ang pagbabakuna ay nasa ayos. Ano? So, kung yan ang statement ko, gusto, you want to say something?
Very quickly, Your Honor. That's why I'd like to take this forum or this hearing, Your Honor, the opportunity to convey to the parents, no, that please don't let this one event taint the innocence of the other vaccines, because the other vaccines have been proven for decades of their protection and have really averted several hospitalizations. Measles, polio, hepatitis B, human papilloma virus.
Kaya ho nawala ang polio dahil sa bakuna.
Tama po kayo. Tama po kayo. Kaya ako po'y pakiusap.
Ano ba?
Smallpox.
Smallpox.
Was eradicated.
So, sana po, wag po kayong mawawalan ng tiwala.
Alam nyo, medicine is not an exact science. Kaya sinasabi ko naman, hindi naman tayo unfair. Mahirap mag-access, mag-research. Kaya sinusubukan natin maigi. Pero pag nagkamali, talaga may tama rin na magkamali. Ganun talaga ang buhay. Senator Gatsajan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just,
I'd like to go to Secretary Garin already and all the others.
Basic question lang to, Mr. Chair. Secretary, so, sa sinabi nyo kanina, kung ikaw ay binigyan ng bakuna at nagka-dengue ka na before, magkaka-dengue ka pa ba?
you only have on the average about 60% protection depending on the strain that hit you. Because say, for example, there are 4 strains of dengue, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Before you continue, please be careful. The guy asking a question, the gentleman asking a question has no children. That's why he wants to know. He's about to get married. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So pwede pa rin po magka-dengue?
Depende sa strain. Kung ang tumama ho sa inyo ay dengue strain number 2 na kung saan mababa, and it's now the predominant strain that's in circulation. And the vaccine's efficacy is only about 40-44%. No? So it's very narrow efficacy.
Pero hindi siya mas grabe.
Ay, hindi mas grabe.
So kung ikaw naman binigyan ka ng bakuna, hindi ka pa nagka-dengue, and you nagka-dengue ka.
Ay, yun ang sinasabi nitong
yun
mga
ang
Sanofi.
problema po.
Ito ang sinasabi nitong mga magagaling na mga taga Sanofi. Sinasabi nila, nag-disclose sila na magkakaroon pala ng severe dengue infection. Remember, that was the November 29 press release, and which I accused them, well, never mind. It's mental dishonesty. Because kumambyo yung mga yan By the time nag-press release sila 4 days, sinasabi nila, the symptoms that we have observed based on our clinical trial analysis was only grade 1 and grade 2 symptoms based on the WHO classification of the symptoms. We never saw dengue grade 4, sabi nila. Ang tanong ko sa kanila, why did you not even mention grade 3? Ano nangyari sa grade 3? So they did not make mention of that. So which I told them that I'm accusing you of mental dishonesty. You could have been more forthright, and which I think they've not been forthright from the beginning, and that's why they deliberately missed out on the grade 3. So we met with them, and they said with some degree of, I don't know, it's a one-sided certitude, their side. Wala rin kami nakitang grade 3. But now, my index of suspicion is so high, ladies and gentlemen, and your honors. Well, Mr. Chairman, I am pregnant with doubt, your honor. Forgive me for my expression, but we shouldn't allow this. And in fact, I think we're talking about the lives of people here. We're talking about children, and the least we can do is to make sure and subscribe to the principle to err on the side of caution. Hindi bali magkamali ako, basta asa panig ako ng kaligtasan. Ating pong ang pinag-uusapan, we cannot toy with the lives of our children and our people.
Secretary, lastly, Mr. Chair, dito sa 830, ilan ho dito ang hindi pa nagka-dengue? Kung ganun po.
Mahirap na po natin sabihin kung ilan po ang hindi nagkaroon ng dengue sapagkat kung nabakunahan na po sila, yung karaniwan pong testing kit ay lalabas lahat sila meron ng dengue. Kasi ang nilagay po natin dyan ay yung yellow fever live attenuated virus. Ano po? At lalabas yan. But sabi naman ng Sanofi, Your Honor, is that they're developing a kit, a testing kit, to be able to differentiate those that had been infected, vaccine-derived, as against those that were naturally infected with the wild virus, Your Honor.
My question, Mr. Secretary, is sa ngayon po hindi natin malalaman ho yan.
Sa ngayon po, hindi po natin malalaman yan.
So ang conservative view here, lahat ng 830
tama po kayo.
Delikado ang kanilang buhay
Tama.
pag nagka-dengue sila.
Well, hindi naman ho lahat delikado ang buhay dahil may mga iba naman dyan na magpapakita ang mga nagpakadalubhasa, they can validate this, no? Hindi naman ho lahat ng nakakagat ng dengue ay nagiging maluba ang kanilang karamdaman o ang sintomas. May mga iba mild. Yung iba nga, akala lang nila nagkaroon sila ng flu o trangkaso. Only to find out nagka-dengue na pala sila.
Secretary, from a layman again, no? Sinabi niyo kanina kahit na may vaccine, magkaka-dengue pa rin. I thought this is an anti-dengue na hindi na siya magkaka-dengue.
Well, this is a very complex virus.
Again, from a layman, no? We have 24,000 kids in Valenzuela ngayon na inject. At every day, the local government's getting calls trying to get answers, the parents trying to get answers from the local government. That's why all of these basic questions I want to bring out, because at the end, kami mananagot rin po, when we go home. So,
kasama po kami.
Kasama rin ho kayo. Kaya ang tanong ko, kung anti-dengue to, there's this conception na hindi na siya magkaka-dengue. So anong klaseng anti-dengue vaccine ho to?
The logic behind, ang dahilan po kung bakit nagturok ng bakuna ay precisely to prevent the disease in the future from infecting the individual or the child. That's why the polio, measles, all the other traditional vaccines. The very complex nature of the dengue virus poses a challenge precisely because they can come in different strains. Strain number 1, 2, 3, and 4. For those that have had the prior wild infection, ibig sabihin yung wild virus, yung like you and I, nagkaroon din po ako ng dengue, no? At alam ko po yung sintomas. Pero hindi natin alam kung yung tumama sa'yo strain 1, 2, 3, and 4. So binigyan ka ng bakuna that covers for the 4 strains. Okay, so may protection ka, but like I said, depending on the strain, there is variable protection or efficacy that it offers. The lowest protection has been studied to be in the type 2 strain or the strain 2 of dengue. So kung nagkaroon ka na ng infection dati, meron hong sinasabi nila na benepisyo o proteksyon na inyong makakamit pagkatapos kayo nabakunahan. But take note, it's not 100%. Ano po? It's not 100%. Kaya ang problemang lumalabas batay sa kanilang sariling pag-aaral at sa atin na rin mga pag-aaral ng mga nagpakadalubhasang mga scientists, sinasabi nila, they have already raised the red flag. Sinasabi na nila ito may possibility of an antibody dependent enhancement. Ito po yung sa madaling salita, yung malubhang sintomas na lumalabas even if whether you had prior infection. Okay? Kalimutan muna natin. Sabihin na lang natin in the general population that has not received the infection. Okay? Nagkaroon ka ngayon ng dengue. Like me, I never got vaccinated. So, my risk now of developing a severe type of dengue is much higher. 2 strains, I don't know whatever strain.
Tagalogin na lang natin, kung wala kang dengue at nagpa-injection ka, delikado ka. Diba?
Lumalabas based on their studies.
Right. That is what is happening. Kung may dengue ka na dati, nagpa-injection ka, hindi ka pa totally immune.
Okay ka lang, but not 100%.
Medyo na-fortify lang yung antibodies mo doon na may labang ka pa. Dahil ang lumalabas sa study, 80% efficacy, di ba?
Hindi, well, it's only
40%.
Depending on the strain, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, kasi po ito po nagkaroon ng ilang meetings at ni-report nga sa akin ng mga internal at external experts in the department.
Yes.
To take off from the question of Senator Gatchalian, yan po kasi ang naging katanungan ko doon sa mga nagrekomenda both inside and outside the Department of Health when this was being discussed. So ang tanong ko po, ano ang magiging benepisyo ng bakuna sa community? So what was given to us, and I believe all throughout, the presence of WHO experts were there. Ang sinabi po, pagka ikaw kapag ikaw ay nagka-dengue na, 4 na klase po kasi ang dengue.
Yeah.
Pag ikaw ay nagka-dengue na, protektado ka habang buhay sa specific dengue na yan. 1, 2, 3, 4, di ba? Kapag ikaw ay nagka-dengue na sa isang klaseng dengue, protektado ka habang buhay sa dengue na yan. Yes, Your Honor. You have 4 types of... Your Honor, if I may, 4 na klase pang dengue. Kung ikaw ay nagkasakit ng dengue type 1, lifetime, natural infection, lifetime protektado ka ng dengue 1. Pero hindi ka protektado sa 3 dengue. Ang kinakatakutan doon, batay sa ating pagsasaliksik at sa mga datos ng Department of Health, hindi lang po dito, kasama na po doon sa ibang bansa, a succeeding dengue infection is almost always severe. So ang tiningnan po namin, ano po ang benepisyo ng bakuna sa taong bayan? The vaccine will give you an 80% reduction in hospitalization and 93% reduction in severity of the dengue. Yung po ang tiningnan ng DOH internal experts in consultation with medical societies. At dahil nga po doon, tinanong po namin, paano po sa Pilipinas? Nung nakaraang taon, type 2 dengue ang marami. Nung nakaraang taon, type 3 naman ang marami. At ipinakita po dun sa datos ng Epidemiological Office ng DOH na bawat taon yung Pilipinas naging hyper-endemic at nagsisirculate yung 4 na klase. Ibig po sabihin ng hyper-endemic, kung dati-rate bawat tag-ulan lang ang dengue, ang nangyari po siya buong taon and merong spikes on every rainy season.
I think we've gone through that already because of climate change. In the meantime, I'd like to recognize Irish for the last question. Irish?
Okay po. Kasi nga, nga po, disappointed ako masyado sa ginawa ng gobyerno, ginawang experimental rats yung aming mga anak. Ang hinihiling lang talaga namin is full support ngayon from the government. Baka naman ang ating gobyerno ay pwede ring magpausok. Di ba? Meron tayong mga ganong project para mabawasan yung risk na magka-dengue uli anak or kaya magbigay ng mga insect repellents. Kasi yan lang, that's the least that you can do for us. Maliit na budget lang po yan. Lahat na sana na kaya nyong itulong sa amin, gawin nyo na. Kasi gobyerno ang nagkasala sa amin eh. Gobyerno ang nagpahamak, nagpalagay sa mga anak namin sa kapahamakan. Sa pagdesisyon nyo, in haste, hindi nyo man lang pinag-isipang mabuti. Siguro nung nagdesisyon kayo, ang konsensya nyo ay tinago nyo muna sa inyong mga bulsa or sa bag o kung saan. Dapat ang pagdesisyon natin ay kasabay parati ang konsensya to have a good, sound judgment over things.
Your Honor.
Okay po, huwag na muna po tayo mag-accuse na po dahil kaya nga tayo parehas dito para malaman natin. Ang importante, alam ko ang silakbo ng damdamin ng marami at yan ay ina-handle po ng gobyerno. Pero naiintindihan ko yung silakbo niya. Pero wala muna tayong ganyan. Lalabas at lalabas.
Okay po.
Sa legal na pamaraan. Okay. In the meantime, let everybody know Senator Handueros is here, present. I would just like to recognize also our expert here, Dr. She was raising her hand. Mary Ann Lansangan. Go ahead, please. Pakibilis na ko because we have a 3 o'clock session.
Thank you po.
Pagka matagal kayo, papasaksak ko kayo ng dengue uli. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sige po.
Your Honor, this is just a point of information when Secretary Duque said were there cases of DHF, dengue hemorrhagic fever 3. The New England Journal of Medicine publication of Hadinegoro et al., which is always cited by Sanofi, says that there were 2 cases of grade.
Ang inyo pong napapanood ay ang hearing ng Blue Ribbon Committee kasama ang Committees on Finance and Health tungkol sa dengue vaccine. Una pong nagsalita dyan sa hearing na yan ay si Irish Alpay, isa po siyang ina na ang anak ay nabakunahan ng dengue vaccine at sinasabi niya nga po halong takot, kaba at galit yung kanyang naramdaman. Ginawa daw experimental rats o pinag-eksperimentuhan daw yung kanilang mga anak ng mabakunahan nitong dengue vaccine at nais niya daw mapanagot yung mga opisyal na nasa likod nito at nais rin niyang malaman kung ano ang tugon ng Department of Health. Ang naging sagot naman po dyan, Health Secretary Duque, ay nagpapatuloy daw yung monitoring at surveillance ng DOH doon sa may mahigit 830,000 na mga batang nabakunahan ng dengue vaccine sa immunization program ng gobyerno. Meron na rin daw mga dengue hotlines na tinatag at gayon din sa PhilHealth ay nagbibigay naman po ng 10,000 hanggang 16,000 pesos na hospitalization. Nilinaw din ni Secretary Duque na pwede naman daw dalhin sa mga private hospitals kung emergency cases na nagkaroon nga ng severe dengue ang mga bata na nabakunahan ng dengue vaccine. Kasabay niyan, inakusahan naman
We know the baseline risk, and that's not always communicated well. The baseline risk is very low, so that when you talk about the cost of using that vaccine to prevent severe dengue, then you're talking about figures of 100,000s. So we need to really make good decisions when we adopt a particular vaccine for public health purposes. The baseline risk is very important to communicate.
Nasabi po ba nyo, hindi mo na dapat dinahos-dahos ito? O
Well, from my point of view.
Ano po yung point of view nyo? Sabihin nyo na po dito.
From my point of view, it was premature to launch a mass immunization program.
Hindi ho ba, it was premature to have a mass immunization program. 3 region po yung ginawa.
Mass immunization program po yun kasi
Mass
you're
immunization
talking
na rin
about
po yun.
thousands.
Million.
The reason why, well, I did say in the past hearing that Dengue is a breakthrough vaccine, and it still holds because it can protect seropositive persons from severe dengue in the future. But we need to look at the downside, which is the safety, and that was not really considered. Consider that the primary endpoint of the studies was just protection against symptomatic dengue. It was not about the secondary endpoint was severe dengue and hospitalization, which the clinical trials were not powered enough to show significant differences in the vaccine group and the placebo group.
All right, can I say, ma'am, therefore, that this was premature according to you and that we shouldn't have done it? We should have waited because after all, ang hindi nyo sinasabi dito ay sa Pilipinas lang ito inumpisahan at saka sa Brazil at saka sa Mexico, walang tumanggap sa Singapore for public use, walang tumanggap sa Malaysia at kaya pinapasok ang Indonesia. Eh, syempre ho, yung sinasabi nyo, may mga averages na pagka nagka-dengue kayo, tatamaan pa rin kayo, bababa ang hospitalization. Tama po yun, pero hindi kayo satisfied doon. Dapat ang sinasabi nyo ay malinaw dapat na makakatulong ito sa tao pag in-administer ito. Yun po ba sinasabi nyo?
Kasi ang sinasabi ko po, the absence of evidence is not proof that it is absent.
All right. Okay, so sa mga tuwid, many of us and many of the people here are quite chagrined because Sanofi mismo nagsabi later on, and I would just like to again admonish Sanofi. When we were investigating this, ang sabi ninyo may World Health Organization. That is not true. World Health Organization outlined kung ano ang parameters itong paggamit ito na tsaka hindi kayo umabot sa 4th grade ng testing na kung saan ay testingin kung ano ang naging resulta ng 3 test niyo. Yung surveillance, yung post-surveillance. Nag-testing nga kayo, pero yung post-surveillance na dapat gawin ay hindi umabot. Dahilan ba yan sa ginawa ni Secretary Ertiga nung araw na pinagbawal niya na, naging optional na yung 4th round of testing? Is that true?
Your Honor, I have to give a context on that, no?
No. I just answered the question. Did you or did you not say it is now optional to conduct post-testing on the results of, immunization?
We made it obligatory for them to do a post, and then we were able to get global data because of that.
I'm talking about the Philippine setting. You are the one who said, and I have a document. Can you get the document?
Your Honor, I guess it was probably taken out of context. What we did...
Everything is taken out of context. So now it's your chance to explain it.
Yes, sir.
Do not editorialize.
No,
Just
sir.
answer the question.
When we were at the FDA in 2013, we found out that there was a post-marketing surveillance requirement of 3,000 patients or 3 years, whichever came first. We thought that was not a very good way of determining safety profile of a drug. So what we did was to do a post-marketing surveillance where we get global data, and this is called post-surveillance periodic safety update report for new products in the market. So not only do we get Philippine data, but we were able to get foreign data as well. So this improved. We were the only country in the world doing 3,000 cases of post-marketing. Okay, and that wasn't sufficient. In fact, it became now a market seeding trial, which we stopped. And industry was happy with that because then we progressed to better robust
Which
data
industry
gathering.
was happy? The drug industry or the people?
Sir, it benefited the people.
No. You said the industry was happy. I don't care. The industry is always happy because they reap profits.
No, sir.
What I'm looking at here is whether the people are safe.
We made it safer because of that policy,
Well,
sir.
that's okay, but anyway, I was just chagrined na bakit pipigilin yung post-marketing even...
No, we did not.
Because I said optional ang ginawa mo. Optional. Optional. Pwedeng ituloy, pwedeng hindi. Tama o hindi?
No, sir.
I will accuse you with the document, huh? You want to read it?
Mr. Chairman, I have with me here a circular from FDA
Yes, sir.
during your time, I think, 2013. It's about the post-market surveillance of authorized drug products. So probably, Doctor, since you were the one who wrote this circular, probably can explain to the chairman because I think further.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll be happy to do that. Again,
Nakalagay dito, in effect, the MHA is no longer required to undertake phase 4 clinical trial and monitor release. Hindi ba yung phase 4 na yan to see the efficacy? To see kung ano mga... and even the drug companies do that.
Yes, sir.
Naglabas ka ng gamot, nangikinig kayo sa trade, may umaangal doon sa gamot, may side effect, nahihilo, nire-record yan. Para sa ganon, i-improve ng kumpanya yung drug. I know because I have a brother-in-law in America who does that.
yes, sir.
Who does that? Na pag kami complain, kaya ako natanong yan, kung ginawa yan, pinaalis mo eh. Sinabi naging no longer required. That's Now let me ask you now a question. I'm going to have to go after you now. Not personal, but I just want to get the facts straight here.
Yes, sir.
In the formulario, let me ask you, totoo bang sinabi ni Mr. Hartigan Go na ito wala na kayong magagawa, pasado na ito sa palasyo? Pasado na ito sa taas? I have a minute's report here. When you were deciding on this. Now please be candid. This is no time to be willy-nilly here.
Sir, I think the minutes already would show what
What
Dr.
transpired?
Hartigan Go said.
And what did he say?
I'm not, if I may quote from the minutes, I think he said that a political decision has been made by a higher committee and that we as the formulary being a technical and advisory group are then advised to provide some requirements or some additional measures in order to protect the children who will be vaccinated.
On January 25, yung minutes na yan. Hearing, 11 o'clock a.m. to 2 o'clock. Yusek Hartigan Go said na ang rekomendasyon na isama ang vaccine in the PNF hindi pa imperative. The procurement was indeed not planned. Hindi pinano ito eh. Wala ho ito sa GAA. Biglang siningit ito, wala sa GAA. Bago ka makapagsama ng pera, dapat nakalagay kung saan mo dadalhin yung pera. Hindi planado and 2016, hindi kasama yan as part of the DOH project. However, and it's underlined here, we do our homework here, a political decision to allot the budget from the national agency savings was already made by a higher committee. Who are you referring to?
Sir, I'm referring to, I presume that's the Department...
No, don't presume, because you said this.
The Department of Budget and Management. And the word political decision was taken in a non-judgmental context. I refer to the remit of the state to form policies, create plans, and allocate budget.
Unfortunately, you do not have the luxury of saying in context because you said it. And you know what you said. Na nagawa na ito, na may political decision. And now let me lower also something to you. Is it not true that you work for Zwilig Foundation?
I did work for
Is
Zwilig
it not
Foundation,
true that Zwilig Pharma markets dengue vaccine? Is it not true?
Yes, it is true, sir.
And therefore, there is a tendency, if not a reality, that you can have a conflict of interest in pushing this product. Sa Tagalogin ko, para maintindihan ng lahat, nagtatrabaho ka sa Zwilig Foundation. Distributor ang Zwilig Foundation ng dengue vaccine. Itinulak ito na wala sa budget. Kumuha ng savings ang national government sa lalong madaling panahon, pinakamabilis sa panahon, para itulak ito. Noong dumating ito, sabi niyo wala na kayong magagawa. Nagawa na ang political decision sa taas niyan. At pagkatapos, ano sinasabi mo ngayon? Ikaw pala ay kasama sa Zwilig Group. Ano sasabihin ng mga tao ngayon? Kasama ka na nagtutulak dito. Di ba masisisi yung bang tao na sasabihin nila, hindi, mabait siya si Hartigan. Kasama ka sa Zwilig Nagtutulak ka Now answer the question.
Sir, my stint at the Zwilig Foundation was between years 2001 to 2009, and after that there was no more connection.
Well,
and the foundation is totally separate from the Zwilig Pharma, sir.
That's what you say, but the statements here reveal your bias towards Zwilig. I would have said, sasabihin ko, galing ako sa Zwilig magta-transparency ako. galing ako sa Swiliga, ang position ko pwede nating itulak ito. Pero wala akong kinalaman. Wala kang sinabi gano'n. May sinabi ka bang gano'n?
No, sir.
Wala. Oh, so, hindi ka nagproteksyon. Ako sabihin ko sa inyo, I will tell you now. Somebody called me on the phone, I can show you. Pwede ba magkipagkita sa iyo ang Sanofi? Ang sabi ko, it would be awkward for me to see Sanofi now. I'm having a hearing. I'm saying it now. Sanofi tried to connect with me. And when I did this privilege speech, I said in the privilege speech, the French ambassador saw me, and thank God he did not talk to me about this right before I made this privilege speech. Did you do that? Did you say I was with Swillig before? Sinabi mo ba yan?
Sir, it's common knowledge, sir. It's
No. I don't know that. Do you know that? Does anybody here know that? Nobody knew that. You're the only one who knew that here.
The people.
So the government has to be very careful in putting people in a very sensitive office. Hindi ako galit ha. Passionate lang. Na dapat, bago ka inagay dyan, dapat malaman ang punot dulo ng buhay mo kung ikaw ay may koneksyon. Sapagkat a scintilla of doubt will create a Titanic or a humongous tsunami of disbelief in the efficacy of what you're doing. All right, so now let's now proceed to others. Yes, Mr. Beno?
Siguro the Formula Executive Council can shed light on this matter. No, you had 3 meetings. Anybody from the FEC can answer in line with the chairman's query. No, Dr. Jimena, probably can you answer? Nakailang hearing ba kayo tungkol po rito sa dengue vaccine?
Sir, I would defer to the head of the FEC, Attorney Pagabaldo. But there were 3 meetings, Senator.
Yes, Attorney. Can you confirm you had 3 meetings to discuss the approval of this particular vaccine?
We deliberated for 3 meetings, and in fact, we prepared a statement on this, no, to perhaps to shed light on the matter. If you will.
Before you do that, I'm sorry, JV. I just recalled and I asked my staff to produce it. Yusek Hardigan Go. Did you not mention during the first FEC meeting on January 7, 2016, and I asked the formulario here, that the vaccine may be granted exemption in the meantime, that it is not yet evaluated by the Philippine National Formulary? Sinabi ba niya yan?
Sir, he was not present at the first meeting, and I think it was relayed by Director Joyce Ducusin, representing the Family Health Office, EPI.
And what is the Family Health Office to Mr. Hartigan? Go. What is the relation?
Sir, we are not privy to how Director Ducusin was able to say that, but I think it's in the minutes of our first meeting that she had said something like that. But to be fair to Dr. Kenneth Hartigan, he was not present during the first meeting.
Your Honor, the structure in the Department of Health is that the immunization program consults with internal and external experts. They are the ones who decides what the government will do, and then it goes through a process of recommendation. If ever there is a drug or a medicine that is not yet in the formulary, they will request the FEC to convene, discuss it in the presence of invited experts. So that's the role of Dr. Joyce Ducusin. I'm not sure if she was the one heading the immunization program at the time, but it's under the Office of the Disease Prevention and Control Bureau.
Well, let me say the words here, because this is part of the minutes. Dr. Jimeno asked for clarification whether the recommendation expected from the FEC is with regard to the exemption of the inclusion of the vaccine in the PNF. Dr. Guerrero said that the exemption of dengue vaccine may initially be considered by the Council since this is necessary to operationalize and initiate the procurement process. She mentioned about the current initiatives of WHO in reviewing the evidence of dengue vaccine, and she added that the Philippines has expressed its intent to be part of the said study. Dr. Ducusin said that the concerns on dengue vaccine being non-formulary and not yet assessed by the FEC were raised to Undersecretary Kenneth Hartigan Go. She shared that Yusek Hartigan mentioned that the vaccine may be granted exemption in the meantime, that it is not yet evaluated for inclusion in the PNF. In other words, exempt muna natin to. I just want to say that. Because ang daming noises about you eh. And you know, we cannot afford that. We cannot afford that. That is why, at the very beginning, I said, the formulary should be independent. The FDA must be independent from political interference. Because pag pinasok yan, kayo mga scientists kayo eh. Yung mga malalaki dyan, sasabihin, payagan nyo na yan, approve na yan sa taas, anong gagawin nyo? Sasagot kayo. Ganun rin yung National Children's National Medical Center. Philippine National Medical Center. Pag sinabi sa kanya, may pera na, sige, tanggapin mo na. Okay lang, tanggap na eh. Parang nangyari yan doon sa Germany, okay doon kay Boss Hitler yan eh. Di sige na, gawin na natin. Hindi naman natin alam kung anong ginagawa nila doon, basta tanggapin na natin. That is why we are in this bind today. That is why we have all these problems today. We look the other way. That is why I'm asking everybody to be candid. This is our chance to fix the problem. Kung may problema, be candid. Dito rin sa Senate, alam niyo, sabihin ko na sa inyo, kumisan, nagbibigayan rin kami, pagbigyan mo na, kasama natin yan. I am very candid about that. Sabi ko, kung mali, mali. And therefore, I ask you, ano ang take nyo ngayon doon sa exemption na yan? Hindi ba eventually pumayag na kayo?
If I may be allowed, Your Honor.
Please.
We agreed to first I would like to make it clear that the role of the FEC is recommendatory.
Yes.
Okay. Now, in recommending the exemption, we place certain conditionalities. No. If you will allow me to read those conditions.
You don't have to ask me to allow you. You're already allowed.
Okay, thank you. Number 1, phased and localized implementation of the vaccination program, contingent on the readiness of the local government unit and the schools to appropriately implement the said program. Considering that the vaccine has never been administered at a population level, there may be unknown risks which could be better managed and contained with a phased implementation.
Pakitagalogin mo nga yan. Dahilan sa hindi pa ito na ibibigay sa malaking populasyon, yung mga ibig sabihin.
Opo. Baka mayroong mga hindi pa nalalaman na ano ba yung risk?
Tiga-UP ka eh.
Peligro.
May mga peligro, may mga delikadong mangyari.
Opo. Kaya po nirekomenda yung dahan-dahan, phased na implementasyon.
Phased implementation.
Opo. Number 2, stage procurement. Because of uncertainties in the clinical and economic value of the vaccine, so as more information is gathered during implementation, the DOH may negotiate for a better price. Tagalogin ko po.
Sige.
Dapat po ang pagbili, dahan-dahan din, no? Dahil hindi pa talaga alam kung ano yung...
By chapter.
Yung kanyang kahalagahan, no? Sa ekonomiya, tsaka dun sa... sabihin natin yung clinical pangkalusugan. And kailangan pa ng mas maraming impormasyon na makukuha sa panahon ng implementasyon. At ang DOH baka makakuha pa po ng mas murang o mas magandang presyo.
At that time, meron bang ibang dengue vaccine? Yung hapon? May test? Wala pa.
Wala pa po. Pangatlo, there should be an FDA-approved risk management plan from Sanofi Pasteur as part of the pharmacovigilance requirement of the FDA.
Nagkaroon ba na? Nagkaroon ba ng risk management plan?
Nagkaroon naman po.
Sige, good.
Number 4, an approved protocol for a post-licensure study to determine the long-term safety and effectiveness of the vaccine, which should include for a sample of patients to be vaccinated, A, baseline dengue serotype status, B, serotyping for patients who will eventually develop dengue, C, baseline and serial antibody testing, D, safety and effectiveness outcomes like hospitalization, any adverse event morbidity, and mortality, among others, of the intervention. Ikalima, plan for training of personnel and implementation by the expanded program on immunization. Para po doon sa mga mag-implement, kailangan ng...
In other words, sa sinasabi nyo, ito yung mga dahan-dahan. Ito yung due diligence, extraordinary diligence, di ba? Huwag naman yung biglain. Ang laking amount niyan, di ba?
Opo.
At saka maaari pang magkaroon ng disgrasya. Tuloy mo.
Ika-anim po, operational guidelines on the use and administration of the dengue vaccine. 7, appropriate risk communication to parents and school children about the extent of protection provided by the vaccine. Depending on the serologic profile of the region, vaccine efficacy may be lower than the reported overall efficacy of 60%. Therefore, personal protection and environmental intervention should continue to be implemented. And lastly, the DOH should actively monitor the outcomes in order to determine the real clinical value of the dengue vaccine that will help determine the real-time cost-effective price for the government.
And did you feel that you adequately did your job in the matter of this dengue vaccine?
Yes, Your Honor.
And your considered opinion is that? Ang recommendation nyo?
That these conditions should be met.
Bago payagan?
For the, as a condition for the recommendation for exemption.
All right. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sumingit ako kasi nakalista po akong pangalawa pagkatapos ni Sen. Sherwin.
We're not following na. Basta,
yes, sir, Chair. Kaya nagpa-acknowledge na lang ako sa inyo. I primarily want to raise issues in this hearing ng una, confidence in government's vaccination program. Kasi bilang health advocate, tayong lahat at magulang, karamihan natin, ito yung ayokong maging unintended victim, damage, yung confidence sa government's vaccination program. Pangalawa po yung operational plan ng DOH para sa possible dengue adverse reaction at saka yung magkano yung kakailanganin para... Yes, Mr.
With
Chair.
all due respect, Senator Intraveros, and I hope you don't mind, we have gone through what you just stated, and we're in the process now of trying to get the information out, and we don't want. I've said earlier here, if the questions are in pursuit of the matter, please go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I was just going to say that those are the three main issues I want to raise. Pero dahil nandito na nga po tayo sa pag-usap sa FEC, I will raise questions to the FEC.
Please go ahead.
Salamat, Mr. Chair.
In pursuit of the points. That
Opo, in pursuit of the points at saka yung 10 conditionalities na sinabi ng FEC. And in fact, Mr. Chair, sinimulan nating i-raise itong mga issues nung unang hearing pa natin, December of last year. So a year ago. Sinimulan na po nating i-raise yung mga process questions at sa unang hearing niyo, ni-raise ko rin yung mga health questions na ipa-follow up ko at the proper time. Pero po sa FEC, Sir Attorney, ilang aplikasyon usually ang natatanggap ng FEC at saka ano po yung standard time na sa loob nun maaring mag-issue yung council ng exemption, ng inclusion o exclusion?
Mr. Chair, I think there are more than 20 applications that received, and they are prioritized. No? Approximately around 10 or 12 are prioritized. And what's the other question? I'm sorry.
Kung ganong katagal po bago mag-issue, pinoprocess, standard time, at bago mag-issue yung body ng exemption, inclusion, or exclusion?
If it would require full evaluation, sometimes it takes a year or a year and a half. But if the council feels that the data are lacking, we still request from the proponents so that they may be considered in coming up with the recommendation.
And sir, given the span of time mula nung application para sa exemption para sa Dengvaxia natanggap hanggang dun sa panahon na yung provisional exemption ay in-issue, ito po ba ay sasabihin yung mahabang panahon o average na panahon o maikling panahon na pinroseso ng FEC yung application na to?
By the way, ito pong particular application ito came from the DOH kasi po the applications from projects of the DOH are given priority. No? So knowing the importance, so hindi lang po naman sa particular drug na to, but in other drugs as well, kung talagang kailangan ng government for implementation, talaga pong pinaprioritize.
Tapos ano po yung pagkakaiba ng provisional exemption at saka yung normal or usual or standard exemption?
Actually, isa lang po yung either exemption or listing sa formulary. Ang action po ng formulary dyan, pag may application, either i-deny kung talagang sa pag-aaral po ay hindi karapat-dapat ma-include sa formulary, gano'n ang ginagawa. Pero kung talagang kailangan, meeting the several factors, ina-approve yan, so after a thorough study and deliberations. Now, aside from that, nagbibigay din po kami ng exemptions, good for 1 year lang.
Maalala po ba ng DOH or ng FEC in particular, kailan yung huling pag-issue ng council ng provisional exemption at para sa anong produkto yon?
Excuse me, I hope you don't mind. This is an investigation on Dengvaxia. The Committee on Health has a chairman here, Senator Ejercito, and if we wish to ask questions on the processes involving the approval of medications by the formulary, that is the proper place to do so. In the meantime, I think we should all pursue the questions involving the reckless disregard of processes in the matter of Dengvaxia.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, and I acknowledge that my chairman, Senator JV, is here as the secondary committee, and I did come early to list and to raise the three.
Can you ask questions direct to the point insofar as the
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I am asking questions direct to the point, and that was my last question for the FEC para po maihambing natin yung prosesong idinaanan dito at kung tama ba ito or may mali or may pagkukulang ba kumpara sa ibang mga provisional exemption processes na dinaanan ng FEC ngayon. I look at the FEC as a very important mechanism or body within the DOH para siguruhin na tama ang pag-assess at pagdesisyon ng departamento kung dapat tanggapin o hindi tanggapin ang isang vaccine.
Your Honor, at the moment, we're not sure about the last time that we make an exemption other than the Dengue. But we'll get back to you. We're looking at the records.
Thank you, Attorney Bagabaldo. And thank you, Mr. Chairman. And rest assured, I think lahat po ng miyembro ng Senado na nandito sa hearing ay on point ang mga tanong. And at the proper time, babalikan ko po yung tatlong issue na ni-raise ko kanina na i-raise ko.
I just wanted to make
Salamat,
sure,
Mr. Chairman.
because we have a session in the afternoon, and I'd like to see to it that I'm sure Senator Ejercito can ask on the in aid of legislation on how we can improve this. Already there is a suggestion that the formulary should be independent. I'd like to ask, and I think he agrees, let me just ask Dr. Guerrero here, if I may. Dr. Guerrero, did you feel any pressure here when you were doing Dengvaxia?
We were just asked to prioritize the review, and that there was a...
Who asked you to prioritize the review? Sino nagsabi sa inyo, bilisan niyo yan?
It was from the Family Health Office.
Sino yung Family Health Office?
Director Joyce Ducusin.
Director?
Joyce Ducusin.
Joyce Ducusin. And did you feel that minamadali kayo?
she needs to discuss this with the FEC because there's a budget already allotted for the dengue vaccine.
Were you aware that there was a budget allotted at this time?
We were emailed, sir.
Were you in awe that the budget came out right away? Hindi ba kasama sa press release na nagkaroon kaagad ng budget na napakabilis?
We were emailed, sir, on December 29 that the SARO has been released by the Secretary of Health.
Hindi kayo nagulat na napakabilis. Meron bang ganyan dati?
This is the
No, please
first time,
answer it
sir.
very
This is the
candidly.
first time, sir.
This is the first time this has happened. Na talagang minamadali at pinapasok. Hanggang sabi na nga ito ay aprobado na na may political kung na dito. Wala na kayong magagawa. Parang gano'n na sinabi, di ba?
It's already a SARO's release, sir.
So you don't consider that pressure?
We just have to review we just have to.
You just stuck to the fact that you wanted to do the right thing, right?
Yes.
And you were not pressured.
It went through the review of the FEC, sir. I'm not the one recommending, so.
And were there extensive debates on this? Maraming umaangal. I can read from the debates.
There were a lot of concerns by the committee on because there was no long-term safety data, the clinical.
No long-term safety data. Wala tayong kasiguruhan doon sa safety data.
They have concerns on the effectiveness because it was only 60% effective.
Hindi tayo nakakasiguro sa effectiveness.
And then the clinical, the cost effectiveness was done by the Sanofi.
Sanofi ang gumawa ng cost effectiveness.
Which has a lot of biases, and they pointed
out. In other words, would you say that this is supply-driven rather than needs-driven?
There was a justification submitted by the family health officer. They justified.
So ang tinutulak nila, supply-driven, not needs-driven. Is dengue number 1 sa mortality dito sa Pilipinas? Is it number 2? Please answer the question.
No, it's
not. Are you answering the question?
Yes, sir. It's not.
Is it number 3 sa nakakabatay? Is it number 4?
No.
Is it number 5?
It's not in the top leading 10 leading
Wala sa 10. Pang ilan yan?
I don't know.
Is it not true na 500 ang namamatay sa dengue every year?
500 to 600.
Is it not true that TB is the number 1, also one of the number 1 killers in this country?
Number 1, sir, TB.
At kulang tayo sa... And is it not true that ang TB ngayon, 1 milyon ang may TB sa Pilipinas, at yung 1 milyon na yon, pwedeng maging 10 million?
Yes.
Would you say then, Mr. Secretary, that that should be a priority in the Department of Health?
By all means, Your Honor.
Would you say that dengue is a priority right away? It's important, but is it a priority?
I don't think it's a priority.
Considering that the science is not perfect?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all I wanted to hear. Yes,
Your Honor.
Dr. Wong?
Mr. Chair, the Formulary Committee also prepared a presentation to quantify the harms that the vaccine will cause, and also some suggestions for legislation. Maybe we be allowed to present.
Please do. Yeah. Go ahead.
Your Honor, if pasensya na po talaga because of my medical condition, can I be allowed to give my statement? Because I have to, because of my medical procedure in a while.
All right.
Pasensya na po. Your Honor, thank you very much for this opportunity. I welcome...
With all due respect, Secretary Green is supposed to have an appendectomy, is it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. Go ahead. And by the way, we sympathize and we are indeed sorry for the loss of your father. And I'm sorry it's a bad time for you here. But we had to go on because, yan, huh?
Birthday na asawa.
Birthday today. It's her birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And the husband also. How come you know all this? Okay, sige. Kainan. Alam niya lang yung kasi birthday kainan eh. O sige, go ahead.
I welcome this inquiry, and it is important for me because, as the former Secretary of Health, I share the pursuit for truth and transparency. Ang desisyon sa pagbili ng Degvaxia ay resulta ng dekadang pag-aaral at pagplano ng DOH. It is an institutional decision to address the public health need and the result of our consultation with experts, advocates, and medical professionals. Ang tanong po ng iba, hindi naman siya number 1 na ikinamamatay ng mga Pilipino. Tama po yun, sir. But when we were informed by DBM that there is a corresponding savings under the Miscellaneous Personal Benefit Fund, meron po kasing kategorya. hindi po pwedeng pondohan yung existing and funded project for the 2016 budget. Kaya nga po maganda po, tanungin po natin ang mga direktor ng Department of Health, ano po ang naging basihan ng kanilang mga proposal? Kasi hindi naman po isang bakuna lang ang request, 4 po at yung iba nga po ay napondohan. Your Honors, since 2010, this has been very intense in the Department of Health. Ang hirap po nung isang doktor ka, nasa gobyerno ka, tatanungin ka ng mga nanay, ang daming namamatay sa dengue, ang daming nagkakasakit. Ang tanong, may gamot ba? Wala. We are spending 16 billion per year just for dengue. Ano po ang dapat gawin ng departamento? Kaya ilang dekada na pong pinag-usapan ito. Yes, it is not the number 1 cause of death. Ang tanong ba, yung ibang programa ba yan, napondohan ba ng gobyerno? Yes. May nagsasabi rin na yung mga bakunang iba worth 3 billion, kailangan napondohan rin po yun, sir. Hindi po totoo na hindi napondohan yan. At tama po, merong isang bakuna na pinapopondohan namin, ito yung pneumonia vaccine, yan po inirekomenda ng Formulary Executive Council. Ipinaglaban po namin yan. Ngunit hindi namin masagot because it was under investigation by the Department of Justice at nagkaroon nga sa problema nung binibili yan dahil sa pagkaka-relay sa akin ng aking mga direktor. And of course, I had a very intensive discussion with Dr. Meme Guerrero on that, na-explain niya sa akin na iba yung nanalo, iba yung kailangan. Ang kailangan PCV-13, ang pinadeliver is PCV-10. Gustuhin man po namin yun ang pondohan ng 3 billion, tali po ang kamay namin dahil inatasan po kaming mag-explain bakit ibang bakuna ang binili sa pondo na inalaan para sa ibang bakuna. Moving forward, Your Honor, the Department of Health is an institution that is looking for the welfare of the Filipino people.
Would you like us to investigate that? Are you saying that?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. I would like that investigated.
Okay, I would like to take a look at that, if that is true, in fairness to everybody. We will take a look if there is any discrepancy in the acquisition of pneumonia.
It's the PCV-13, Your Honor.
PCV-13?
Kasi yan po ang nangyari. Totoo po, Your Honor. I agree with the Formulary Executive Council. Yung po ang isa sa kailangan naming bilhin. Subalit nagkaroon po ng mga katanungan. At yan po ang naging problema. Dito naman po sa usapang dengue, dalawa po ang pinapapondohan. The prevention of dengue and the dengue vaccination program. On the prevention of dengue, when I took over the Department of Health, nagkaroon po ng administrative order yung aking predecessor, si Secretary Ona, ukol sa isang gamot na gamitin rin po namin sa dengue. Subalit, nung ibigay ko yun at tanungin ko yung aking mga kasamahan sa Department of Health, marami po silang sinabi sa akin, pinaimbestiga po yun namin, at meron po kaming dokumento na pwedeng ibigay, kaya hindi po namin yun ma-roll out. Your Honor, when the Department of Health decided as an institution, it was not because it was a wanton decision. When I asked the immunization program, paano ba natin gagawin na yung mga bakunang available sa mayayaman, ibinibigay rin natin sa mahihirap? When the FDA granted its permit, yung kanyang Certificate of Product Registration, ang isang gamot o bakuna, pag nirehistro sa FDA at sinabing safe, siyempre, ang pagkaintindi ng buong Pilipinas, hindi lang po, buong mundo, because this was registered in other countries as well, is it safe? In immunization, lahat halos ng sakit na binabakunahan natin yung wala pang sakit for lifetime protection. But in the case of dengue, the behavior is different because you have to vaccinate yung nagkasakit na at yung hindi pa nagkasakit, hindi mo babakunahan. Baliktad po ang naging behavior. Ginawa po ng lahat ang makakaya ko bilang ina, bilang doktor, bilang DOH Secretary na mabigyan ng ligtas na bakuna ang bansa. During my term, Your Honor, it's not only dengue vaccine. We started the cervical cancer vaccination for the poorest 20 provinces. We started the school-based booster doses for measles, rubella, tetanus, diphtheria. And pinalawak po natin yung flu and pneumonia vaccination ng senior citizens. At pinalawak rin po natin ang pneumonia vaccination ng mga kabataan. Your Honor, sa issue po ng pagbili ng bakuna, I categorically deny any wrongdoing. I am not involved in any corruption and I am willing to be investigated. Tama po. Hindi po DOH ang bumili ng bakuna. Philippine Children's Medical Center ang bumili ng bakuna. But let me put it on record. Sa personal ko pong pagkakaalam, walang bahid ng korupsyon ang mga miyembro na pinagkatiwalaan natin na Bids and Awards Committee ng Philippine Children's Medical Center. It has never come into my attention to question their integrity. And as far as I know, the PCMC operates on transparency and its dealings are all above board. Nung nagkaroon po ng katanungan ng undue haste, during the time of Secretary Ubial, this was investigated. The Integrity Management Committee report is there. It was composed of many reputable directors inside the department, and Secretary Ubial is very much aware of that. I gave Secretary Duque a copy of that just recently para po naman matingnan natin yung buong kwento from start to finish. Because hindi po ito anecdotal, yan po e base sa mga records sa loob at labas ng departamento. Wala pong naging undue haste sa desisyon na ito. Kung sakasakali mang merong mga impormasyon na itinago ng Sanofi sa Department of Health, sino ba namang mag-aakalang magtatago sila ng impormasyon dahil ang amin pong mga meeting sa kanila, I admit I was not personally present in all meetings. I was just there in very few meetings because I rely on the internal and external experts of the Department of Health. I have full trust and confidence in the Department of Health, Your Honor. Minamalisyahan man ng iba, marami po ang magagaling sa loob, and I empathize with them in the demoralization that's happening. Hindi lang naman po Pilipinas ang nag-uusap when this was being done. It was a group of 11 countries na magkakasama pong nagmi-meeting. Kung nagsinungaling man ang Sanofi, hindi lang po sa amin, pati sa ibang bansa at sa World Health Organization, dapat naman po talagang managot sila. Hindi po na sila lang, marami pa po ang dapat. We in the DOH, as a dedicated and professional organization, were motivated by nothing more than the desire to address a severe public health burden posed by the perennial threat of dengue. And I think to an extent, we were successful. Maybe if there was no change in the medical advisory it's not actually a medical advisory, if Sanofi did not request a change in labeling, because that is what actually happened, the DOH organization would be heralded as heroes in addressing the dreaded dengue illness, which as today remains without any specific cure. Nung nagkaroon ng bakuna sa hepatitis, di po ba winakwak yung DOH? Bakit yung mayayaman meron? Bakit yung mahihirap wala? Yung nagkaroon ng cervical cancer vaccine, bakit mayayaman meron? Bakit pampubliko wala? Rabies, 2 lang ang binibigay na libre ng DOH, iba pinapabayaran. Lahat po yan, inuna namin at ginawang libre. Your Honors, we are hoping that this would really be investigated at makita po kung ano po ba talagang nangyari under the circumstances and given the prevailing facts. I empathize with our health workers. Naintindihan ko po, Ma'am Iris Alpay, ako rin po nababagabag. Hindi po yung sinasabi niyo pong nakakatulog po ba ako? Nung nabigla po ako sa request for, akala ko kasi nung una statement. The first thing that I did was call my counterparts in Brazil. At ang ikinagulat ko, iba yung kanilang reaksyon at iba naman yung ating reaksyon. Ganon rin po sa ibang mga bansa. What makes me wonder, Your Honor, is that the other 19 countries did not suspend the vaccine. Kaya nga po ang tinatanong ko, dapat talagang magsalita ang ating mga international and local experts. With that, Your Honor, we are hoping that the international medical experts will soon clear the air to allay the fears of the public, because the longer it takes for them to come out, the longer the agony is there for us. I am not pointing fingers at others. Kung sakasakali pong sa investigasyon nyo, Your Honors, meron po akong command responsibility as Secretary of that time. I welcome and I will fully answer whatever it takes at rerespetuhin ko po yung inyong mga desisyon. But besides for me to say, wala pong ibang hinangain ang Department of Health, kundi yung mga ospital na napupuno, yung mga batang nagkakasakit na wala kang maibigay na gamot. Nagbigay kami ng allocation sa PhilHealth, palubo ng palubo, pero wala pa rin kaming maibigay na sagot. Moreover, Your Honor, ano ang naging problema sa dengue? Kung dati-rati ang dengue ordinaryong sakit lang, tag-ulan lang, ang dengue umiba siya. Naging bawat araw, bawat semana, bawat buwan, at ang pinakamasakit, yung iba walang lagnat, walang rashes, nagkakaroon ng malaking komplikasyon. What was very important with us is that when we conferred in January 2016 with the World Health Organization in Geneva, tinanong ko yung unang tanong, ito po bang sinasabi nilang ADE na tingnan niyo po ba? Ang sagot nila sa akin, kaya nga po gagamitin lang siya doon sa mga bansang laganap at hindi siya nationwide, subnational, ibig sabihin, pipiliin mo lang yung talagang matataas. And I asked them, pero sa amin po 200,000 lang ang nagkakadengue. At ang sagot po sa akin, ang dengue po, hindi lahat ng dengue may sintomas. And I asked, we all asked, and the answer was, those who develop symptoms is only 20 to 25%. Karamihan na nagkakadengue walang sintomas. Kaya the moment they get a second infection, it's almost always fatal or very severe. Kaya nga po ang sabi sa amin, look at the reduction in hospitalization, that's 80%. Look at the reduction in severity of 93%. Your Honors, sana po, bilisan na ng ating Strategic Advisory Group of Experts and the World Health Organization to come up and clear the air. But for the meantime, let us trust our people in the Department of Health. Wala po sila, wala po kami ibang hinangad, kundi ang kapakanan ng bawat Pilipino. Nung sinabi ni Ma'am Iris Alpay, naggalit na galit siya dun sa health worker. Ilang doktor po ba ang pumapayag maging rural health physician? Ilang doktor po ba ang humaharap? Pakinggan po natin ang parte niya. Huwag po natin siyang laitin. Naiintindihan ko po, Ma'am Iris, ang nararamdaman nyo. Pero baka naman ang sinasabi niya is tingnan natin ng mabuti ang sitwasyon ng bata. Hindi niya sinasabing, I'm not sure, I was not there. But for me, this is a situation where we all have to unite, look at the bottom line of this, give it to the DOH because they are the authority, and let Sanofi do the explaining. If they need to answer, they really have to. If I need to answer, yung po haharapin ko ng buong buo. Kasi po, yan po naging desisyon ng buong departamento. Maraming salamat po, and I will always be here for any call, any meeting.
Thank you, Secretary Green. And again, happy birthday. And my gosh, you're in all kinds of emotions these days, aren't you? I sympathize.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead, Secretary.
Probably, and I'd just like to take advantage of the opportunity that Secretary Aguirre is here, and probably also clear some issues. No? And we'd like to, we are not here to for vindictive anything, but it will be a good venue for you to air your side, so to speak. No? And I understand also your predicament. No? You just lost your father, and then your birthday. It's really a
Your Honor, yung birthday wala po. It's just that I have to be operated because Sabado pa po yung I keep on delaying it against doctor's advice.
Yes. But if you're willing, ma'am, I'd like
Yes,
to
Your Honor. Yes, sir.
like to propound some questions on some issues that we want you to also to air your side. No? According to news reports and official documentation of Malacanang during President Aquino's administration, in sometime November 2014 and December 2015, President Aquino met with the Sanofi officials both in China and Paris. And just
Sir,
like to ask
let me just put it, kasi yung, apologies for this, I think in the previous hearing, I said, I was not yet secretary because I really didn't know about the Beijing meeting. So if I'm looking, let me look at the dates if I was the secretary at that time. But in my involvement so far, we were requested to vet the notes, the briefing notes of the President for the climate change conference. The documents will show, and Secretary Duque can dig it up with the Office of the Policy. Nung nakita ko po ang briefing notes, I deleted the whole paragraph on the discussion of dengue vaccine procurement. Kasi sabi ko, wala namang pag-uusapang procurement kasi wala namang budget.
So at that time you were not yet, or even in those two meetings you were not present?
In the COP21, Your Honor, yung sa Paris po noong December, before po kasi umalis yun, nasabihan nga ako na magkakaroon ng courtesy call yung mga maraming negosyante kasama na ang Sanofi. Dalawa po ang topic na pag-uusapan, yung vaccine, yung PPP on vaccine self. Ibig po sabihin, yung ambisyon ng Pilipinas na gumawa ng mga bakuna na minana ko po sa aking predecessors, and of course it was a pet project being proposed by the Public-Private Partnership Office under USEC Ted Herbosa. Yung po ang dinidesisyonan kung ika-cancel ba o hindi. Yung pangalawa po is pag-uusapan yung dengue vaccine. In the briefing notes, we canceled the whole discussion. So the final copy that we submitted to the President, dinilit ko po yung, kasi pagdating sa mesa ko, sabi ko, ba't nating pag-uusapan to, wala namang pondo.
And likewise, during a DFA report, I came up with a DFA report that you discussed with Sanofi Pasteur on how to create a demand for dengue vaccine in the Philippines. That was according to the report. I'd just like you to clarify, Secretary. Para lang humalinawan.
Yes, thank
Kasi
you
kung
very
hindi,
much.
magkakaroon ng malicious interpretation. So we're giving you the chance to clarify all of these things.
Yeah, maraming salamat po, Your Honor. Ang totoo po niyan, hindi po ako nagpunta ng Paris to meet Sanofi. Pumunta po kami ng Amsterdam dahil may malaking problema sa Region 3. At kahit po kami makuha ng pondo, wala po tayong technical experts with regards to arsenic contamination in those areas. Nagkaroon po kami ng mga maraming meeting doon hanggang humabot kami ng Belgium, and in Paris were mostly meetings with OECD. At nung ando doon nga ako, inulit ko po na sana naman po yung Sanofi, because they're one of the top vaccine manufacturing plants, tulungan ang Pilipinas. Dahil meron po tayong mga makina na gumagawa ng bakuna na nasa RITM na hindi po umaandar. At nagpapatulong kami sa kanila kung pwede nilang paandarin kasi sayang naman. Pangalawa po, meron pangalawang binili na gusto naming ihinto kasi walang feasibility study. So what they did was invite us for dinner. Sinabi ng opisina ko na i-reveal nila yung presyo. So it was not
This happened in Paris, ma'am? Yung meeting with Sanofi
Yes,
Pasteur?
Lyon is also in France.
Okay. Oh, Lyon. Okay.
Lyon is in France.
Because I came up with your statement that sabi niyo nga nagkamali kayo because of this meeting. Siguro please elaborate na lang po.
Your Honor, nung tinanong po ako bigla ng isang media correspondent, sinabi ko po wala akong natatandaan, pero ang natatandaan ko, nagpunta ako ng Lyon. Ito po yung factory nila kung saan pinapakita nila na ma'am, sa lahat ng bakuna, hindi po pwedeng gumawa kayo ng factory na maliit yung lugar at pipilitin nyo sa Metro Manila. They are not, ang nangyari po doon, ang sabi ko sa kanya, let me look at my notes and let me call people in my office because I can't remember a dinner. Nung lumabas na nga po at sinabi na I called up my office, my other staff, my other previous staff, at inamin ko naman na nagkamali ako. I was being asked for a dinner that happened 2 years ago. Isa lang po ang punto doon, Your Honor. Kung may mali siya yun, bakit ako magdadala ng mga career officials? Bakit ako magdadala ng taga-European Union? Bakit ako magdadala ng taga-Department of Foreign Affairs? Hindi ko po sila sinabing i-strategize. They were telling me that this is a burden at ganito kalaki and this is available. Ang una ko pong tanong, magkano po ba? When we ask a question
please elaborate, because there were reports also that you were there were already negotiations on the price on that meeting.
Your Honor, it was referring to the private sector.
Okay.
Kasi ang sabi ko
sa private
ang una nilang ilalabas, sabi ko, magkano nyo ba yan ibebenta? Kasi syempre may professional fee pa. So I told them, the Philippines has a very big burden on dengue. Baka naman pwedeng mahal siya sa ibang bansa, mura siya sa Pilipinas. And I also told them, yung iba kasi mga opisina like ADB and World Bank, binabakunahan yung kanilang mga tao.
So the price being negotiated was for the private, not for the procurement for public use?
Your Honor, i-correct ko lang, there was no price negotiation.
Okay.
It was actually their announcement of price. They made an announcement with, I think with APEC, I'm not sure, but I was not present. So there was no price negotiation. They just revealed the price. Kung balikan lang po natin, 2014, in-announce na ni Secretary Ona. Sir,
if anybody has liquidity problems, just raise your hand and point to the restroom.
Yes, Your
Honor.
2014, nagkaroon na ng press conference si Secretary Ona. Sinabi niya po na by July 2015, magkakaroon na ng dengue vaccination program and we intend to include that in the public health program. Pero ang sabi ni Secretary Ona, hihintayin ang presyo. I took off from there as part of any secretary's obligation. Pero wala pong naging hausyaw, wala pong naging usap-usapan na kung ano-ano man. It was a very transparent meeting involving 3 topics.
So, ma'am, do you confirm the DFA report that there was a meeting held in Paris?
There was a dinner, yes, but I would opt to have a copy of the report para po masabi ko kung alin yung tama, alin yung hindi. And maybe Sanofi is here.
Yeah, we will
can ask them. And for the record, Your Honor, ang bili po ng Brazil is $30 per dose. I've been in touch with the government of Brazil since this November 29 advisory kasi ayaw ko rin na ang impormasyon ko ay manggagaling sa Sanofi. Ang gusto ko nanggagaling sa ibang gobyerno. Sa atin po, $20 inclusive of VAT.
Thank you, ma'am. Again, I hope you don't mind because I want you
Yes,
also to
Your
clear
Honor.
all of this information that is reaching us. Can we request the committee to flash the timeline because this will be very crucial. Siguro, Secretary Gin also, continuing to Mr. Chair, if you don't mind, it was established that during the first hearing that on December 10, 2015, or 9 days after your Paris meeting with Sanofi, you submitted already a proposal to DBM for the procurement of 3 million doses of dengue vaccine. Can you confirm this, ma'am?
Pardon, sir.
After the meeting with Sanofi Pasteur, and on December 10, 2015, that's 9 days after the meeting, with in the Paris meeting, there's a report that you submitted already the proposal to DBM for the procurement of 3 million vaccines, dengue vaccines. Do you confirm this, ma'am?
Your Honor, what actually happened was I was informed by the finance office na ang sabi nga ng DBM, unang-una, talaga pa bang may mga magre-retire? Ilan ba ang kailangan? Pangalawa, kung wala nang mag-early retirement dahil marami pang pondong naiwan sa Miscellaneous Personal Benefit Fund, magbigay ng proposals on unfunded program. So, everything that I submitted was all based on the submissions of the directors concerned, Your Honor.
So, ma'am, it was also established that the dengue vaccine was not part of the program and therefore not in the GAA. So, that the fund that was used from the MPBF or the Miscellaneous Personal and Benefits Fund, do you confirm this, madam?
Yeah, Your Honor, the fund was MPBF. Let me correct lang po. Hindi po totoo na yes, wala siya sa GAA, wala siya sa plano for 2016. But it was in the pipeline at ang unang ang iniisip ng programa nung sinabi nila sa akin is they were looking at 50 million from their savings. So it's in the pipeline because it's part of the dengue prevention and control strategy given to all countries.
Is there any special requirement before any agency can use this fund from the MPBF?
Yes, Your
Kasi
Honor.
ginagamit nyo po wala ho siya sa GA pero nagamit po to procure the dengue vaccine. So what's the special requirement po?
Your Honor, I asked our legal office, our admin and finance office at sinabi ko pwede ba ito o hindi. Ang una-una daw requirement is that the Human Resource Office will have to certify na yung mga magre-retire hindi tutuloy. Pangalawa, the programs will submit proposals. Your Honor, if I may, mas maganda kasi ang alam ko, after I sign, all the meetings was between the programs, the directors sa baba, and the DBM kasi marami po masyadong requirements doon. And then the legal office. So, hindi na po ako nasama doon sa mga usapang yun. My participation was actually just endorsing the request to the Office of the President.
So the proposal for DBM to procure the dengue vaccine on December 10 was made by your office po?
Your Honor, it came from the vaccination, the Disease Prevention and DPCB office. I'm not sure if Family Health Office or DPCB office. I'm sure, Your Honor, it came from the Office of Technical Services, one of the offices there.
And likewise, Mr. Chair, within the same month, no, just yung timeline po, no, this very crucial. December 22, 2015, the certificate of product registration from FDA was, yung timeline please, kung pwede, mailagay. For the
Can you please
was
put the
released.
timeline in?
Ay, timeline ka, para lang maganda. It will be good for Secretary Garin while she's here to clarify the timeline. No? Yan. So yun po, no? Yung December 22, the FDA approved the marketing of the dengue vaccine or Dengvaxia. No, that's 12 days after the DBM received the notice for the procurement. Normally, I would like to ask, how long does it take for a vaccine to, or any product to be given a certificate of product registration? Normal time ba ito? Pwede si Dr. Kelly?
Yeah, Your Honor, I'm not involved. I'm not, just on the record, Your Honor, I was not involved in the licensing of Denvaxia, and we operate separately. So maybe you second.
Your Honor, I'm not involved with the licensing either. I have no authority in this aspect.
No, but who was the Director General of FDA then?
At that time, Acting Director General Lulu Bravo.
Santiago.
Yes, ma'am. Can you please, please confirm that the FDA issued certificate of product registration for Dengvaxia on this date?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Your Honors, the FDA has issued the certificate of product registration on December 22, 2015.
Yes. How long does how long does it normally take for any product for you to analyze and for testing? Medyo matagal yan eh. Usually, how long does it take?
Ideally, it should be on a 9-month to our art.
1 year to almost 2 years?
Yeah, 1 to 2 years. 1 to 2 years, Your Honor.
1 to 2 years.
Specifically, Your Honor, for this vaccine, they actually filed the application on January 21 of 2015.
Can you take a look at January 21? Can you go back, please?
Timeline, please. January 21.
Could you help her? Ayo. Yeah.
Of course.
Order, please. You're saying that they asked for, they applied on January 2015.
21-2015.
Huh?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yan ang sinasabi. Can you put that there, please? Saan nakalagay yan? Timeline. Do you have any documents to show that?
So, Director General, just to clarify, no, yung Sanofi submitted the complete dossier May 12, 2015. Tama ho ba?
The complete submission, Your Honors, was done until May 12, 2015.
May 12, 2015. So, the approval of Dengvaxia was released December
22, 2015.
So, ilang buwan lang ho yun?
July, August, September. About 280 days, Your Honors.
So, is that
so less than 1 year?
Your Honors, in our
7 months.
7 months.
And to be sure, this is a new drug, right? That
yes,
is
Your Honor.
largely unverifiable kung magaling ito. Experimental pa nga ang tawag ko dyan eh. Tama ba yan? Answer the question.
It's a new drug, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
The new drug, almost experimental. The efficacy is questionable, correct?
Doctor, in this, Your Honors, in this case, the application has met the parameters of quality, safety, and efficacy, Your Honors.
So you're saying this is effective?
According to the parameters of FDA, Your Honors.
I don't know what your parameters are. I'm talking about from the standpoint of the public. Kayo ang bantay eh. Kayo ang gwardiya eh. Ang gwardiya sa Department of Health, FDA at saka formularyo para hindi tayo mapupolitika. Paano ko tayo mag-release ng gamot, dadaan sa FDA ng masusing pag-aaral. Dadaan sa formularyo para masusi ang pag-aaral. Ngayon, hindi porke pinayagan nyo dyan, ibig sabihin lang dyan, pwedeng itinda sa private sector. Tama o hindi?
Sa public. Your Honors, can I elaborate my answer?
Answer the question first.
It can be sold in the private sector.
Private sector. Dahil ang private sector, may sariling doktor na personal, pwede ko ba gamitin ito? Hindi ka tulad na mahirap, umaasa sa publiko, sa Department of Health. Tama o hindi?
Yeah, right.
Kaya dumadaan sa formularyo bago ilagay yung listahan ng gamot na pwedeng bilhin ng publiko, dadaan sa formularyo. Tama o hindi?
That's correct, Your
Yun
Honor.
lang ang pwedeng ibenta ng DOH. Tama o hindi?
That's correct, Your
Sa
Honor.
madaling sabi, eto, baliwala sa akin yan, FDA, yung ginamit lang yan para makakuha ng SARO na talagang record speed. Nag-meeting ng December 1 si President Aquino, si Secretary Garin sa Paris. Tama o hindi? Please show it. On December 1, I have it on my memory. December 1, nag-meeting sa Paris, correct? Ayan, may litrato ba? Kasama ang cabinet. Pagbalik dito, by December 10, next please. Next please. 11:10 a.m., the President received Sanofi Pasteur as requested by Ms. Conchita Santos, manager of Sanofi Pasteur. Can I have some order, please? Order. Ayan. December 10, Secretary Green submitted the proposal to DBM for Health Facilities Enhancement Program, funding and procurement of 3 million doses of dengue vaccine. Tama o hindi? Tama, hindi ba? Is that correct? Yes, tama. So, after December 10, babaw nyo. Next, December 11, Bacolod submitted the justification for the procurement of dengue vaccine under National Dengue Prevention and Control Program. Next, please. December 21, meeting regarding declaration of savings. Naganap na savings. Nakakita, uy, may savings tayo to augment items of appropriations for various urgent projects. Cabinet meeting ata yan. And then December 22, the Food and Drug Administration approved, wala pang isang buwan, approved na kagad yung dengue na pwede na bigyan ng CPR na pwedeng itinda na sa privado pero hindi na siya nasama sa publiko. Tama? Yes or no?
Yes.
Miss Maria?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Next. December 23, memorandum for President issued by Secretary Abad. By Secretary Abad recommending funding of projects from fiscal year 2015, savings from the miscellaneous personal benefits, so they can be obligated and or disbursed before the end of 31 December 2015. Bakit kailangan nyo, Secretary Duque? Because pagkatapos ng December 31, wala na. Ibabalik na yung pera sa National Fund, correct? Alright, sa Treasury. Then, what happened? Next. Next. Ayan. Ang naglabas sila ng 3.8. Balik muli. Ayan. Ang labas, among the projects identified to be funded was MPBF savings is the dengue vaccine, NCR lang, Region 3, 4A, under the expanded program for immunization at the amount of 3.556 billion. Correct? Answer, please. That is a fact, right, Secretary Garin?
Your Honor, the DOH conducted an may I request, Your Honor, the Integrity Management Committee report during the time of Secretary Obrial be submitted as part of the records because
You can do that. I will allow it.
Yes, Your Honor.
We're trying to be fair here because you see, sa parada pa lang, ang bilis-bilis eh. Biro mo December 23. Now, I will ask my fellow senators here, gaano ba kabilis makakuha ng SARO? Gaano ba kababilis makakuha ng pondo sa DBM? Abay, magnonobena ka ng mga 3,000 beses bago ka makapagpalabas ng pera dyan. Pero ito, napakabilis ng labas ng pera. Kaya nga, nababagabag kami. I'm not accusing anybody here. I'm just disturbed. Nakakagulat na ang bilis-bilis ng takbo ng palabas ng pera. Ayan, tingnan natin. Next slide, please. December 28, nagpalabas na ng SARO. Come on, please. December 29, December 28, as the EPI, sinaba na yan, no? Ang Family Health Office submitted the request to Secretary Garin. Nakakagulat, Family Health Office na naghihingi, no? For PNDF exemption per EO number 49. Ano ba yung exemption na yon? Ano ba ibig sabihin ng exemption na yan, Secretary Duque?
the formulary
Exemption na hindi dadaan sa formulary.
No, Your Honor.
Ano
The
pa?
exemption, Your Honor, ganito po kasi.
Oh.
Lahat ng binibili ng gobyerno, LGU man or national government, dapat nasa formulary.
Correct.
Pagka may bibilhin ka, pagkatapos justified ng program, the program will have to request the FEC to convene and invite experts. And then they deliberate whether they will give an exemption.
Precisely, Madam. Ang formulary, ang may na exemption na huwag ng paraanin na yun. Dahil nagmamadali tayo.
na pwedeng bilhin.
Na pwedeng bilhin.
Na pwedeng bilhin.
Yes,
Na pwedeng
yes.
bilhin.
Yes.
Kahit na hindi sila pumayag, pwedeng bilhin.
Hindi, Your Honor. No, if they don't agree, hindi po pwedeng mabili yun.
And why
Kasi-
will they ask for exemption?
Your Honor, kasi yung pag-deliberate para mapasok sa formulary, it takes a long time.
Precisely.
Ilang isang taon.
Why does it take a long time?
Your Honor, yan po yung isang ginawan ko sana ng solusyon. I requested, Dr. Meme Guerrero was present when I kept on telling them, bakit kailangan magdagdag ng tao? In fact, she gave me a proposal na January
Ma'am,
1, 2015.
Let me finish. I know what you're trying to do there. All right? But I'm just trying to make a presentation here. Na alam ko matagal sa formulary and you want it faster.
Senator Richard Gordon there questioning
Be controverted.
former DOH Secretary Dr. Janet Garin, who will be leaving in probably in the next 30 minutes to undergo. She will be undergoing an appendicitis operation. Senator Gordon there giving a timeline on what he is saying. It seems to be some sort of a timeline on when former President Aquino and Secretary Garin had met with Sanofi officials. Hence,
Lahat ng diseases ng local, from HIV, lahat yan, binibigyan ng pera yan, di ba? Magkano ang budget yan? Alamin natin. Pero ito, 3.5 billion. At pagkatapos, ang budget lamang doon sa expanded program is 3 billion. Ito, ang daming gamot doon para sa 7 expanded. Ito, isa lang, tatlong region lang, 3.5 billion. Paano ka naman hindi magtataka? Di ba? O tuloy natin. Bilisan nyo na. Next, please. Next. Ayan. Ito nakalagay. The allotment herein released, shall be valid for obligation until December 31, 2015. Next, please. Oh, kabilis eh. Hannah, can you please hurry up? Next, ayan. First week of January, Secretary Garin informed Dr. Julius Lecciones, Executive Director of Philippine Children's Medical Center, about the plan to implement dengue vaccination and request for PCMC to procure the vaccine. Hiningi niya, Children's Memorial, kayo na ang bumili. Medical Center, I'm sorry. Sanay ako kay Dr. Del Mundo. Force of habit. January 4. Secretary Garin announced 5 days later that over 1 million public school students will be selected to have 3 doses of dengue vaccines. Next. January 7. FEC meeting for 2016 agreed that the FEC will follow standard procedure and to defer any recommendation regarding exemption of dengue vaccine until a formal request is submitted by the concerned DOH program. The application for the PNF inclusion shall likewise undergo the standard process. Dapat dumaan kayo sa usual process hanggang may request formally. Next. Second week of January 16, submission and review of MOA between DOH, Disease Prevention and Control Bureau, at saka PCMC, Children's Memorial Hospital 40, transfer of funds and procurement of vaccine. The said MOA was finalized and then authorized on 19 February 2016. Nagro-roll out kayo, nagre-request pa lang kayo. Nagro-roll out na kayo kung ilan ang bibilhin, nagre-request pa lang kayo kung paano gagamitin, kung paano ang pera. Next. January 21, PCMC made a purchase order for dengue vaccine. Bumili na, purchase order to Swillig Pharma, the sole distributor of dengue vaccine, without approval. Walang approval from the formulary. Oh, he did not approve it, sabi ni Froilan. Ha? Ha? Okay, kaya nga, yun na nga yun. You recommended already?
No, sir.
With conditionalities, di ba?
No, sir. The recommendation was only made on February 1, 2016, sir.
Which says 2016.
Yes, sir. February 1, sir, yung letter to Secretary Garin.
Na may conditionalities. Di ba? May ako na kayo tatanong sa conditionalities. January 21. Second meeting, Yusek Hardigan-Go said that the recommendation on the inclusion of the vaccine in the Philippine National is not yet imperative as the moment. He explained that dengue vaccine procurement was indeed not planned. Walang plano. Wala sa GAA 2015. Wala sa GAA 2016 as part of a DOH project. However, a political decision to allot the budget from the national agency savings was already made by a higher committee. Lahat ng mga anak ng Diyos, yung mga Diyos sa taas, nag-decide na. Yun ang ibig sabihin sa akin yan. How else can I interpret it? Next, purchase request dated January 21, 2016. Ayan na kagad, meron na. Next, January 25, FEC meeting for 26, agreed, yan ang sinasabi ko, darating yan, to defer recommendation until additional requirements are provided, conditionalities. Formal phase 4, na hindi ni-recommend ni Hartigan na dapat tingnan muna yung resulta ng post-testing. Correct? Hindi na kailangan. Protocol for staggered implementation with target population and pilot schools. Anong protocol? Operational guidelines for the use and administration of the vaccine. Huwag kayong magbibigay pagka may sakit. Huwag kayong magbibigay pagka kumuha ng steroid. Di ba tama yun? Tama ba yun o hindi? Use the phone.
Tama po.
Tama. Kasi kailangan nasa record yan eh. Next, baseline. Profiling and serial antibody monitoring. Operational research protocol. Ipapublish yan. Tama? Para malaman na lahat.
Tama rin po.
Okay, next. Wow, hirap ito. 25-2016. Kenneth Hardigan-Go, Doctor of Medicine, University of Newcastle, upon Tyne, United Kingdom. Diplomate, Doctor of Medicine. Ba't ba nakalagay yan dyan? Hindi ko alam yan ha. Sige. Next. Former, balik mo. Balik nyo, 26. Ang hirap, nakaka-frustrate. Huwag malikod. Sige na. MaxiCare Asia Bosses, December 2005, Independent Director, Equicom Savings Bank. Okay, bakit yung sinabi yan? Next. January 27, 2016, first formal meeting of PCMC, appropriate DOH agencies, first National Adverse Events Following Immunization Committee meeting, initial planning for the monitoring and response to adverse event following immunization, including presentation of the baseline survey methodology. Napapansin nyo ba, napapagod ako sa bilis? Araw-araw may bago eh. Next. February 1, 2016. The results of the revised cost effectiveness was presented by Dr. Hilton Lam, considering the comments of the FEC. Kinonsider naman pala eh. Next. DOH issued certificate of fund availability to PCMC. Next. February 3, Secretary issued certificate of exemption of dengue tetra vaccine to be utilized for the pilot implementation in 3 regions. Meeting of the FEC with Secretary Green, etc. Ano yung certification? Next. February 9 to 10, original operation orientation of regional. Nag-orientation na tayo sa lahat na magpapairal nitong pagbibigay ng vaccine. Tama ba yan? Opo ba yan o hindi? Yes or no? Yeah. Tinuturuan nyo na yung mga provincial health coordinators what to do. Next. Doses of the vaccine arrive in the Philippines. Now, let's pause there. My question to Sanofi. Do you have 1 million or 3 million vials in stock inventory? We were told that in the meeting with Dr. Garin and Sanofi that it takes you about 26 months to produce so many vials of medicine, of dengue vaccine. Do you have this in inventory?
Good morning, Your Honor. Yes.
It's too late for that already. It's good afternoon.
We had much more than that. Indeed, we had produced a specific manufacturing plant in order to produce much more than that, to be able to respond to public health priority in various countries all over the world.
Merci beaucoup. My question now is this. What is the expiry date of the medicine that was supplied to DOH? What is the expiry date?
As per the registration of the product, as per the label that is registered in every single country, dengue vaccine has an expiry date of 3 years.
No, I'm talking about this particular drug that you gave, not the general drug. you are supplying us a drug, we should know. The government should take all the necessary precautions. Kailangan mag-i-expire itong gamot na binibigay. What is the expiration date? I know.
So,
I'm just asking you a question.
So 3 years. So if you're talking about the exact batches that are in the Philippines,
is it not true that there is an expiration date for August?
For every single product, there is a clear expiration date written on the.
So there was an expiration date earlier than the 3 years because this was produced earlier. Correct?
If I may finish my sentence, Your Honor. So I was saying that there is a 3-year dating for every single batch of product, and these batches in the Philippines will be expiring around the summer of 2018. I can give you, and we can provide the exact expiry date for every single batch.
I'm willing to accept what you're saying. All I'm trying to make sure is that there was an expiry date that was given, that was not. That's why. The reason why I'm asking this is why the hurry? Mag-i-expire ba yung gamot kaya kayo nagmamadali? Are you speeding it up because the medicine was about to expire? Was there a cataclysmic eruption of dengue pandemic in the country?
We have been speeding nothing, but dengue...
I'm asking the question to the Secretary of Health. At that time, was there a pandemic of dengue? Answer the question, please.
I don't know. No, sir. There was none.
There was none. So there was extreme speed. Would you say that this is very, very speedy?
Yes, sir. I noted that in my presentation to Congress Committee on Good Governance.
I remember, all I'm saying here is from what our research shows that there was undue haste. That's why I use the word.
It is not the usual process that we undertake to introduce a new vaccine product.
And to be able to release money like this, you will need the highest form of influence to get the President of the Republic of the Philippines to tell DBM, i-release mo na yung pera, or DBM to say, i-release mo na yung pera. Because it's 3.5 billion. You want to answer that?
Well, I just want to clarify. It's not pandemic, Your Honor, with all due respect. There's proof of endemicity in the 3 regions.
That can be, we can take that as part of the recital of events. That there is really, it's endemic here. I understand that.
These are regions 3A for 3 for A, NCR, and Cebu province.
And was that justification enough to buy this right away?
Well, it fell well within the guidelines of the WHO. You gotta give it 3 doses. You gotta give it to only high burden of dengue cases, and you gotta give it to 9-year-old and above.
Yes.
9-year-old.
Be that as it may, was it finished?
Your Honor, Mr. Chair.
Did you comply?
At that time that the dengue vaccine was procured, there was no WHO guidelines, Your Honor.
There was no guidelines.
WHO guidelines came out July 29, 2016, Your Honor.
Your
Yes,
Honor,
I'm aware of that.
If
Yes.
I may, before the WHO guidelines came out, there were a series of meetings between our technical directors, our other officers inside the department, and other countries. Before, kasi nung nagkaroon nga ng pera, we will not pursue with this if there were actually obstacles. So in January of 2016, I meet with 3 directors in the World Health Organization office in Geneva. And I have conveyed that to Secretary Obial and the others. And tinanong ko po lahat doon. I'm willing, Your Honor, to submit their names, precise for me to say when we asked na ano ba yung mga requirements, we were already informed of such.
You can do so, but I think that there's only persuasive effect in the first place. There's no document, and at the same time, I just want to make sure, all I'm asking is, there is so much speed in the process that really piqued my imagination and my inquisitiveness. Ang bilis-bilis sobra At saka maraming mga pressures, maraming mga, even during the investigation, I could feel there was pressure. Now, February 11, doses of the dengue vaccine arrived in the Philippines.
Sir Chair,
Yes.
pwede, tanong ko lang yung out of the 830,000, naka 3 doses na ba yan?
Hindi pa.
Let me put it this way. 830,000 had received at least 1 dose of dengue vaccine. So some of them had gone into the 2nd dose, some into the 3rd dose.
So hindi pa tapos?
Hindi pa tapos.
Kasi yun ang tinatanong ko kanina, sabi nyo tapos na
Mr. Chair, before we move on to Feb 11.
Can we go ahead? Just let me just finish the point because...
Mr. Chair, it's just related to the question of towards Sanofi since we were at that point earlier.
No, you can do so after this because I want to finish this, then you can ask the question.
I'll reserve to
Of course.
follow up, Mr. Chair,
Of
after
course.
the enumeration.
You will
Thank
be given
Mr.
that time.
Thank you,
know,
Mr.
it's just
Chair.
that we are trying to finish this timeline para everybody understands what happened. And I don't want twists and turns because mawawala yung point eh. Forgive me. February 19, 2016, MOA between DOH, Disease Prevention and Control Bureau, and PCMC for the transfer of funds. Ang question ko nga dyan, bakit magbibigay kayo sa PCMC? Hospital yun eh. Bakit sa kanya ibibigay yung pera at sila mag-i-implement? Hindi naman sila may hawak ng mga regional director, ng mga provincial health officer, ng mga rural health officer. Don't answer. I know the answer. Next again, please. February 24. You may answer that later on. Issuance of Department Memorandum guidelines in the school-based immunization of tetravalent or dengue vaccine. Next. 2016, March. Health Secretary Jaga said that DOH would start the vaccination program starting in March. When did the school year end? March, di ba? Lagay mo na first week of April. Tapos na. Patapos na yung eskwela eh. Kaya hinahabol eh. Oh, next. March 2, notice of cash allocation was issued by DBM to DOH amounting to 4.5 billion. Dahil mayroon pang pinuntahan na pera yan. Hindi pa natin tinatalagyan. Pero alam ko, pumunta sa inyo, 3.5 billion. Next. March 8, fund transferred to PCMC total amount of 3 billion. Disbursement voucher was issued for transferring of funds to PCMC. Next. Next. Ayan na yung resibo lang yan. Bidensya lang yan. Purchase order was issued by PCMC to Swilig Pharma. Swilig is a distributor of dengue vaccine here. This is where, yun ang pinag-uusapan kanina. Next. May I request the Senate President to change our computers and our 19 kopong-kopong pa itong okay. March 15, 2016, delivery of 200,000 multi-dose vials. 200,000. First dose supplies to RITM warehouse. Next. 16 to 17, delivery of vaccines and collateral peripheral supplies. Next. Mabilis naman ang takbo. Tripartite MOA between DOH, DepEd and DILG notarized. Mabuting practice ito kung may pandemic. Mabilis kayo. Kung may pandemic, mabilis talaga. Di ba? Di ba, boss? Sir? Okay, next. March 21, tripartite. April 4, launching of dengue vaccination in Parang Elementary School, Marikina. DOH, DepEd, and DILG collaborated in the major launch of the vaccine in Metro Manila. Hindi ko nagkakamali, may nagkasakit dyan sa Marikina. Next again, next. Launching of dengue vaccine in Iba, Zambales, sa probinsya ko pa. Thank you. May nagkasakit dyan. April 10, 2016, Rafael was transferred to the Bataan General Hospital. Rafael is the student na may sakit, hindi sinunod yung protocol, tinurukan, dinala sa provincial hospital, tapos dilipat, tapos namatay. Okay, namatay. John Paul Rafael dies after suffering cardiac arrest. The case was presented to DOH National Adverse Event following Immunization Committee. That's why this is so important, yung post-marketing. Di ba? Para malaman natin kung anong haharapin natin. Next. April 18, the WHO recommended the administration of the vaccine in populations where the disease incidence in the population is at least 50%. Tama yan. The vaccine is not recommended for children below 9 years old and should be given in 3 doses at a 6-month interval. I want to know, can you please tell us kung nagawa yan? Formally, formally. Next. Dr. Paulino Bialo on April 18, on July 18, now DOH Chief Science and Resolution recommending the deferment of the program saying the vaccine is not proven safe. Ayan. Next, September 28, Secretary Obial issued a certificate of exemption for dengue vaccine so it could still be used despite earlier flagging of certain issues. Ba't nagbago?
The WHO guidelines came out July 29. 2016. So the Region 7 fitted the criteria, and there was a lot of insistence and clamor from the representatives from Region 7 to include Region 7 in the pilot of this vaccine?
I don't want to ask this question and you don't have to answer. Were you under any pressure at that time from whatever sources to approve this?
The pressure was there starting the first day that I became Secretary of Health, Your Honor.
And people are pressuring you to approve it?
To implement it, Your Honor.
All right, I will not ask you. Later ko na i-ask yan. So, next please. May 5, 2017. Secretary of Health, DOH will hold the dengue vaccination program after completing the third and final round of injections for grade 4 from April to July. Next please. June 23, interview of Robert Mendoza, Alliance of Health Workers. The issue was about the stock dengue vaccines having expiration dates of August 2018. See? Not 3 years, 2018. Mendoza mentioned that the budget of the maintenance and operations of the hospital were reduced, but according to Mendoza, Secretary of Health plans to buy new dengue vaccines as well. Denied by Secretary of Health. So that rejects your statement. I'm beginning to call you a doubting Tom. I'm going to be a doubting Dick because you are not you are a doubting Thomas. Because there you are, you say ang expiration yan is for 3 years and August 18 you have an expiration.
Is that a question, Your Honor?
Yes, of course.
My answer was that it takes 3 years of expiry between the manufacturing and the expiry date. And
that's your answer previously.
And that was my answer previously. And I said that as per label, and I also said that the product in the Philippine batches were expiring in summer 18, which is the case as you can see here.
And you're saying 2018 was the expiry date of all those medicines?
No, some are May. It goes from May to August to be precise.
Promote the company's diabetes drugs?
I have no information about such case, Your Honor.
You're from Sanofi. I'm giving it to you. Here.
I understand. I don't think it has anything to do with
Sanofi paralegal Dan Ponte filed the suit claiming that she learned of an alleged scheme at Sanofi to pay more than $30 million in kickbacks to promote the company's diabetes drugs. The suit came a year after the France-based drug company already agreed to pay more than $100 million to the federal government to settle other claims related to alleged kickbacks to doctors, and 7 months after Sanofi agreed to pay a nearly $40 million fine in Germany in connection with 2 employees who were convicted there of paying bribes to boost drugs. That's why I'm a little bit hot under the collar. The record of Sanofi all over the world is not sterling. All right? Kenya, 2014. Sanofi employees made improper payments to doctors in Kenya by handing out perks encouraging doctors to prescribe Sanofi drugs. Shall I go on? We do our homework here. Germany. German court convicted 2 former employees of Sanofi on bribery charges. Middle East and other East African countries, 2007, 2012. Sanofi bribed the doctors in Eastern African and Middle East countries to prescribe its drugs. According to Reuters, the alleged bribes involved gifts and other perks. China, an anonymous whistleblower told the Guangdong-based 24th Century Business Herald that Sanofi staff paid around 1.7 million renminbi, or 179,000 pounds, or $227,680,000 in bribes to raise sales. The alleged bribes had been paid to 503 doctors across 79 hospitals in Shanghai. Mr.
Chair, I have one last question before I need to follow my Health Committee Chairman to our bicameral conference committee hearing on the mental health bill. And there's no attempt to have twists and turns here. We came early to list, to interpellate, but since our hearing has needed to take a more free-flowing style, then I simply try to come in when either the topic, as with the FEC earlier, or the resource person comes up. So my one last
question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So my one last question to Mr. Triumph of the Sanofi, head of Asia Pacific, in relation to the third issue I would have wanted to raise about how much will be needed to address the cost of possible adverse or serious dengue cases that may arise after the vaccination program. Will Sanofi be willing to shoulder the cost as a token of goodwill? Of course, without prejudice to the possible filing of cases by different stakeholders. But just that point about, as a token of goodwill, would Sanofi be willing to shoulder the cost?
Thank you for the question. So first of all, to answer the previous question, and which goes with this one. First of all, Sanofi is holding itself to extremely high standards of ethics and compliance. We have a zero-tolerance policy for any bribery or any violation of the laws. Each time we find such case, we act immediately with termination. In regards to your question, Honorable Senator, we do stand strongly, and I expect to have the chance to provide some opening statement with facts, behind the safety and the efficacy of our dengue vaccine. Each time we are learning something new about adverse events, we make sure we do study, we make sure we do communicate, and in this exact situation, we have communicated as soon as possible the information to every single national regulatory agencies, as well as any single Department of Health concerned by this product. So we already met together with the Department of Health. We have been a strong partner over the years of public immunization, and we expect to be. And if there are things we can work together, we can collaborate. We're collaborating on surveillance, and we'll keep working together. But I want to maintain the fact that this product is safe and efficacious. And I'm looking forward to have the chance to provide an opening statement. Thank you.
And in principle, lastly, Mr. Triumph, if after your study and after your communications in partnership with our Department of Health, you should discover that your company did not fully fulfill its obligations, or there was some fault, or there was some inadequacy in principle, would you be willing, as a token of goodwill, to shoulder the cost of the parents of the children who may have been exposed to unnecessary risk because of any fault or inadequacy on the part of your company? So at least in principle, Mr. Triumph.
We have not seen any default or any negligence on the part of the company, but of course we keep monitoring our products. Each time we see any adverse events, we communicate. We'll keep working for any such thing as adverse events, for example. We have processes in place for every single product in every single country, where every single case of adverse event is monitored, checked, validated by doctors. There is an official report being produced, and then they work with the company to see what's the causality of the adverse event. All these processes, of course, will be implemented for these products as they are for all the other products in the world.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to close by saying that I stand by my original statement on this issue, that the DOH as our primary health authority will be accountable, and Sanofi as the private sector counterpart or stakeholder in this issue must also be responsible. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Obviously, I think Sanofi, there have been people who have been asking me whether they can file class suits against Sanofi and against that is a prerogative of everybody who wants to do it. Obviously, when people are harmed, especially when there's bad faith here, when there's a shortage of information available, then there will always be a cause of action. Let me just point out also, if I may continue, and I'm sorry I have to do this because...
Your Honor?
Yes.
May I respectfully ask the permission to read my opening statement?
After this.
Sure.
Because you are the one on the carpet here. You were here the first time, and now you're making a second opening statement because you were the ones who admitted that there was some shortage in your information. That's why I did not give you priority. All right?
I will respond to that whenever it's my time. Thank you.
All right, you may do so. you're a big corporation, a global corporation. I want to make sure that the little people here, yung maliliit na tao rito, they have their say against your company. If they are marginalized, the little people must be given the priority. I will give you later on your chance to do so. Because they cannot fight a big company like you. All right? November 7, 2017, DOH Assistant Secretary Lyndon C. Louis says that despite the controversy surrounding the immunization program, it is not ethically right to abruptly stop the vaccination process without completing all 3 doses. You can see we're trying to be fair here. We have been putting all the sides in the question, even in the timeline. Next. November 29, 2017. Based on up to 6 years of clinical data, the new analysis evaluated long-term Sanofi updates information on dengue vaccine. That is your statement. In people who had been infected with dengue prior to vaccination and those who had not. The analysis confirmed that Dengvaxia provides persistent protective benefit against dengue fever in those who had prior infection. That we agree on already, even at the very first stance. But it was not stated. What is coming was not stated, and we asked about that before. For those not previously infected by dengue virus, however, the analysis found that in the longer term, more cases of severe disease could occur following vaccination upon a subsequent dengue infection, which goes to say that this should have been stated from the very beginning. From the very beginning, we didn't have to squeeze it out of Sanofi, and Sanofi didn't have to do it when it was already out in the open. They could have said, you may give it to those who have dengue, pwede nyo ibigay doon sa may dengue na, pero wag nyo munang ibigay doon sa mga taong walang dengue. Is that asking for too much? I don't think so. Next. Is that it? All right, now I will now ask, have you do your statement. Go ahead. It's not an opening statement. It is just a statement.
Statement. Thank you, Your Honor. Honorable Senate President Aquilino Pimentel III, Honorable Majority Leader Vicente Soto III, Honorable Committee Chairperson Richard Gordon, Joseph Victor Herrito, Senator Nancy Binay and Senator Sherwin Gachalian, other senators and officials of the government, distinguished guests, good afternoon. My name is Thomas Triomphe. I'm the head of Asia Pacific for Sanofi Pasteur. First of all, I'd like to apologize for my strong French accent. If there is anything unclear I say, please make me repeat. Thank you, first of all, for inviting Sanofi Pasteur to this joint hearing and for giving it an opportunity to speak and hopefully enlighten everyone on Dengvaxia. Your Honors, my colleague and I are here today as a representative of Sanofi Pasteur to dispel misconceptions, clarify misunderstandings, and allay fears and apprehensions with scientific facts and empirical data. Let me begin by addressing the Filipino people. We at Sanofi assure each and every one of you that Dengvaxia is and continues to be a safe and efficacious vaccine. We affirm that, to this date, the dengue vaccine offers and has clearly been shown to offer persistent protection against dengue infection, which is undeniably beneficial to the Philippines, which has one of the highest endemicity in the world of dengue. We're talking about 150,000 to 250,000 reported cases of dengue in the Philippines every single year. And that's the reported cases only. Dengvaxia was a result of over 20 years of rigorous research and development involving clinical trials, including more than 40,000 people in 25 different studies across 15 different countries. Since its registration in December 2015, and Philippines was not the first country to license Dengvaxia in the world, Dengvaxia has been now used in 11 countries, both in private and public market, and has been registered to date in 19 countries in total, in Latin America and in Asia, and is under review by many other countries to be licensed soon. It has since been able to provide sustained protection to over 1 million people all over the world, and even today, there has been not one single death causally linked to the vaccine. 2 weeks ago, we at Sanofi Pasteur, in full transparency, shared with the public new information that came to light regarding our vaccine. This updated information, which is part of Sanofi Pasteur's activities conducted as a matter of best scientific practice, shows that seronegative persons who have not been infected with the dengue virus before, have a 0.2%, I repeat 0.2%, increased risk of getting what we called severe dengue cases due to the IDMC definition, but what we will define further by being traditional dengue symptoms as observed in the Philippines, i.e. grade 1 and grade 2, such as fever, low platelet counts, or nose or gum bleeding. This is what we are talking about here. Despite this updated information which prompted Sanofi to make its voluntary disclosure and make it apply for a label update in every single country where the vaccine is licensed, it is important for the public to understand that the vaccine continues to be good, safe, and effective. The latest results of the post-licensing activities show that Dengvaxia has a sustained and longer protective effect on seropositive persons. Those constitute the overwhelming 90% of the population in the Philippines. Hence, with Dengvaxia, the greater majority of the Filipino people will have been protected, not just for 1 year, not just for 2 years, not for 3 years, but almost 6 years. It is perhaps because of the clear benefit of sustained protection that even after our public disclosure, and with the label change we are submitting, all over countries where Dengvaxia is marketed and used, do continue to use and do continue to market it to this very day. We hope that knowing that other nations from all over the world are not taking Dengvaxia off the shelf, will prove that Sanofi Pasteur is telling you the truth, that the vaccine is safe. Your Honors, it is the inescapable truth that in the Philippines, dengue is not just a risk. It is a reality. It's not isolated. It's just here and there. It's endemic. It's everywhere. As such, the Philippines stands to benefit most from Dengvaxia. To permanently remove the vaccines from the Philippine market, on the basis only of the reported, when we account for the overall population, 0.02% increased risk of getting what is traditionally known dengue symptoms, that will be a regression in the country's approach to solving a major public health concern and a disservice to the Filipino people. Doing so would, in effect, leave 90% of the population at the mercy of an epidemic, which has been found to be preventable. All of us present here today, parents, senators, doctors, health practitioners alike, we all share the same goal: to bring the truth to light, to shatter a misconception, and to assuage fears. With these goals in mind, Sanofi Pasteur is ready and willing to cooperate in this inquiry and is actually welcoming it. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. With the permission of my colleagues, I would like to answer.
We will be back after a short break.
And proceed to ask also some of the witnesses here. But first, before I ask that, I'd like to ask a question of